Alrighty. Let's see here. Got everything pulled up. Alright, cool. Let's take we're gonna take a look at this game here. We're gonna watch it, and I'm gonna take some more notes, even though I've already taken some pretty extensive ones, considering one of these two teams is who Carolina will see next. I know that I've been rather worried about them facing Montreal a lot of this season. I'm still more afraid of them than Buffalo by about a country mile. Not as much as I was, though. So let me turn this volume down here just a little bit so I can hear myself talk and hear myself think and all that. And I gotta share this link here. Let's see what we got here. All right, Damon, what's up, buddy? Dylan, how you doing, pal? You see where Ray Ferraro said he thinks Carolina should be hoping whoever is going to win the series does it fast, doesn't think all this time off is that good. So I disagree with him on that. I'm a firm believer of the whole rest versus rust argument. It's totally valid. However, Carolina showed in the last series with Philadelphia that all that time off they can manage with that and actually use it to their advantage, because Rod's not going to let those guys get complacent for whatever faults Rod has had as a coach. And if you ask me, last season was his worst one as far as game management decisions and play and coaching in the playoffs, particularly in the conference finals. The year before that was pretty bad too, with some of the decisions that were made. I have hardly anything negative to say about Rod as a coach as it is, but the last couple of seasons I'd personally ramped up the criticism a little bit. But he has never allowed them to get complacent. That's one thing that when it comes to the culture and getting the most out of people, that's never been a problem. So I think that these are circumstances that he was prepared for, having this much time off. I'm totally fine with things being the way they are, and I'm totally fine with Buffalo and Montreal killing each other for 7 games with 18 overtime periods attached. I'm not worried about that personally. Ray Ferraro has been much more fair to the Hurricanes than a lot of other people in the media. A lot. He's probably been more fair to them than anybody nearly as far as ESPN goes, because we know ESPN is goy slop at this point, basically. It's like I don't see how you look at a team that's made the playoffs 8 years in a row, won at least one round every time, exceeded expectations 2 of the 3 times they made it to the conference finals, one of them wildly, knocked off a defending Stanley Cup champion in their first year back in the playoffs that had essentially the same team, managed to make it to the conference finals with 3 of their forwards injured and out, one of them being Andrei Svechnikov, have won multiple series that all these same people have said over and over again they were going to lose, including 2 this season. When it comes to ESPN, Ray Ferraro is one of the more fair guys. And that's one of the things that I don't like about sports media nowadays. I've never been a big fan of sports media. This is going to sound kind of harsh, and I don't mean to direct it at every single person in sports media, because there's a lot of them I like. I like Ryan Hinkle. I like Walt, just to name a few. That one guy that works for Columbus, Mark something, I like him. I think that he writes good stuff. Jesse Corvier Lynch that writes for I think it's the Hockey News for the Oilers. I like a lot of the stuff he does. There's a lot of people who do good stuff there. But by and large, sports media has become less about having the integrity and having opinions based in critical thought or fact or even just well thought out opinions, and more about how many people can we piss off so we can get more people to click on our stuff. Now, in my case, I know that I have my gimmicks, but I also have a small audience, and I basically cover one team and whoever that team is playing against imminently or whoever they've recently played against, and that's that. Uh, for example, with the Flyers, I consulted my friend Derek a lot. When it comes to talking about the Devils, I consult my friend JJ a lot. When it comes to talking about the Caps, I have about 100 people I can consult on that just because I have so many friends that are fans of that team. So I'm not going to sit here and think that or I'm not going to sit here and pretend that these guys are consciously doing this stuff because it's what they actually believe. They're doing it because it gets them visibility. So it's like, see, like right here, my friend Kevin, Russian Machine Never Breaks, I think, is a perfect example of how to talk about a team. I agree with that. Um, because eventually when I have my website done, I have the URL, I have some ideas of what it's going to look like. I just have to take the time to actually implement it, and pretty soon I'll hopefully have the funding to do that, because I'm going to dump a good amount of money into that website. By the time it's all said and done, it's going to take me a few years to make the money back up that I plan on dumping into it. If I'm lucky, maybe a little over a year. That is how it should be done. There's a lot of relatively good objectivity on that website. Do they have some homerism? Yeah. I'm not going to pretend for a second that I don't have some things that are totally rooted in fandom. That being said, it should be more like that, where they at least criticize their own team, talk about things that could be done, and have, realistic ideas for trades and all that type of stuff. So, and speaking of people I know in real life who are Caps fans, this is one of my favorite ones. Shout out to you, my friend. Glad you're here. J-Dub, what's up? Thank you for the 5, buddy. Hope they slap the shit out of each other. I'm going for overs behind in the series, so it goes to 7 and really tear each other up. I can't cheer for Buffalo, man. I I'm literally wanting the team I'm most afraid of in the East to win because of my hatred of Buffalo. It runs that deep. That's why I know a lot of these. What's up, buddy? Go lay down. That's why I know a lot of these people. You can't possibly want a penalty for that. He lost an edge. That's all it is. Let him play. That would have been a penalty in Carolina and Philadelphia series, because they called everything in that series. What was funny, a lot of the Flyers fans, so it was pretty even 5-on-5. No, it was not. I have the numbers to back that up. Dylan says, I'm surprised at how much Dangle and that group have really came around to the Canes, even calling Tulsky easily a top 5 GM. Well, see, the thing about it is, the reason that I suspect that they're coming around like that, basically, if you're on every bandwagon, you get the most visibility that way. So they change their opinions almost. It's almost a scheduled opinion change, just so they can tap into an audience they didn't have before. I I like Jesse Blake. He's the only one over on SDPN that I really like. And one of the biggest reasons I like him, he said something about Chatfield a couple of years ago where he accidentally got his age wrong, and the way that he described him as a player was wildly inaccurate, because he said offensive upside, and I'm like, there's not a whole lot of that there with Chatfield. That's just not his thing, and which is fine. You don't need not everybody on the team needs to be Lane Hudson or Quinn Hughes, but he like backtracked on that and said, "Hey, my bad. I had my information wrong," and I respect him for that. So Zucker just went for that wraparound, and just if his arms had been 2 inches longer, he might have tucked that. But in that regard, I respect Jesse Blake because of that. And Jesse is also one of the more composed people on that show. Steve and the other guy, on the other hand, they lean a little bit too much into the performative meltdown side of things for me. Don't get me wrong, I get pissed off about stuff with the Hurricanes. I really do. But I am not going to go on a camera and do it every single night. I'm not saying they do it every single night, but it's frequent enough to where you hear about it more than once in a while. So, and not to mention, Steve Dangle is just not the type of guy I would get along with in real life. Damon says, Montreal scares me, I won't lie. Yeah, that's the team I've been the most afraid of in the East since January. And it's not necessarily because I think they're the best. It's because their style is a perfect countermeasure to Carolina. Now, in the event that they advance, I'm going to do an entire stream talking about basically the nuances of Carolina not running such an aggressive 2-1-2 or a type of forecheck and maybe, back off a little bit in the offensive zone and suffocate Montreal in the neutral zone. Take more white space away there and deny the transition game as opposed to trying to impose their will on the other end. Because you can try and do that to Lane Hudson, you're not going to do it very often. Like, he's going to be a top 5 defenseman in the league if he isn't already. So as far as puck movers go. Dylan says the Carolina versus Montreal atmosphere would be second to none. Yeah, and it was a lot like that in 2006. And, that was an amazing feat that Carolina pulled, being able to lose the first 2 games at home and then go on the road and win the next 2 when the series was totally on the ropes. And you'll never guess who scored that overtime winner in Game 3 against Cristobal Huet to turn the tide of that series. And the Sabres scored, which is never a good thing. In this case, maybe it kind of is. Dylan says, I think Carolina can beat Buffalo in 5. Montreal, it will be at least 6. I would add 1 game to both of those. Buffalo, I think Carolina takes them in 6. Montreal, I think that takes 7. But it also depends on what they look like when this series is over, should they advance. J-Dub says, I want the Habs to win as well. I truly believe if Carolina beats them, it is as good as done. I won't say that when Colorado is probably the one waiting on you on the other side, and I'm definitely not sleeping on Minnesota either. Vegas, I'm not sleeping on just because they have a depth type of structure to their roster and a ton of high-end skill on it at the same time. They've done a very good job. Kelly McCriminal is a terrorist, but he's good at his job. And that's why that team has been successful as it has been in such a short amount of time. That was the most rigged expansion draft in the history of professional sports. They got the easiest expansion draft in the history of professional sports. They really did. But you have to know how to use the assets that you're given, and he did that perfectly. Damon says breathing was a penalty in the Philly series. It really was. Dylan says Olmark had some of the best numbers in the playoffs. Also, Vidar now would get Joe Dobis last season. We got Thompson and Bob, etc. Why we always getting the best goalies to go up against? Well, part of that is because so many of them are in the East. If you think about it, the vast majority of them are in the East. It was also of that window of time where there was a window of time where Carolina was not good at drafting high up, i.e. the Francis era. A lot of that turned around after that. Now, granted, he found some gems. For example, Aho, Slavin. I think we're both Francis era picks, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. So was Pesci, but he's no longer a factor for Carolina. But that's besides the point. The whole thing about it is that. Oh wait, what do we got here? That was a hell of a power move there. Yes, kill each other. Let's go. Come on, let's go. Throw hands. Damn, I forgot what I was saying, but yeah, essentially, right now, Buffalo's actually doing a pretty good job of slowing Montreal's transition game down. So, and by the way, Matthew P will be joining us at probably 8 or 8:30ish, I would imagine. And I'm checking the score in the Braves game here too, and I ain't worried about them at all for a while. But yeah, it's like when I said something on X that a couple of people misinterpreted the hell out of, which is fine. But let me just clarify this because you have to do that on the internet because shit gets lost in translation really easy. When I was watching Minnesota and Colorado last night, I posted something about Carolina needs to take notes on some of the stuff that Minnesota was doing to slow down Colorado's transition game. Because other than Montreal, if you ask me, they're the best offensive transition game in the league. And the thing about it is Minnesota was having sustained, a few minutes at a time, sustained sequences where they were slowing and mitigating and in some cases outright denying the transition of Colorado. So I was like, maybe Carolina should take some notes. You get specifics on that because that's a team that is very likely that I'd say it's the most likely team that Carolina would see in the Stanley Cup Finals should they make it there. So And there were a couple of people in there saying, "Oh, Carolina's already the best at it." Yeah, that doesn't mean that you don't prepare for what's next, like, or what could be coming down the road. Every team is a little bit different. They're even teams that are mirror images of each other, you can find little nuanced differences. And that's something that the guys who review the video and the coaching staff and everything like that have, they know they've forgotten more than I'll ever know. But what are they calling? Oh, what do we have here? And see, the other thing here, Buffalo's got a 1-goal lead, 8 shots on net. Montreal only has one. And I've got my laptop here so I can pull up the advanced metrics during intermission. That's still not a safe lead. And the thing is, Carolina is the king of 40 shots on net and 3 goals and 90 shot attempts. That's not safe against Montreal. It's not very safe against Buffalo even, but it's definitely not safe against Montreal. Let's see. That's not, you can't call that one a goal. If you oh god, that's just like the Freddie one. But I don't know, man. I'm reluctant to call that a goal considering they didn't call the Freddie one a goal against Ottawa, but that's a little bit deeper in the net. I'm reluctant to let that goal stand just because of the Freddie thing, but at the same time, though, that one's, it looks like his like half his forearm is past the goal line. I just, yeah, likeliness is that puck's completely over. Oh, dude, someone next to the penalty box wearing a Kokaniemi sweater. That's funny. Um, yeah, it's a little bit more it's a little bit more distinctive there because he's got a red glove as opposed to a black one. See, that's a tough one, man, because they kind of set a precedent with Freddie about conclusive evidence, and I don't know. That's, I don't envy who has to make this decision. See, from that angle right there, the front angle, unless you have like Superman's depth perception, you cannot definitively say that that puck's in the net from there. See, you can't, from the goal cam, you can't really tell. The overhead view, see, that whole glove is over, but does the league rule that as conclusive in this case enough to overturn is, and they're going to end up writing another damn rule because of this. No, no, Dylan, I agree. It was crystal clear in the case of Freddie, but like, I'm talking about the precedent of having enough evidence to overturn a call on the ice. Like, it's kind of the same situation, even if it looks like more of his glove or all of his glove and part of his forearm was in the net. By the way, guys, whatever the call is, Dave Jackson's going to say it's the right call. Spoiler alert. And it's a goal. That's going to cause some discussions. That's going to cause some discussions. That's going to bring the Freddy thing back up. I guarantee you that's going to bring the Freddy thing back up. Yeah, Sens fans are going to be pissed. I kind of don't blame them just from the standpoint of what is and isn't conclusive evidence. And now Montreal's challenging it. So if it gets overturned here. Okay, so wait. So the War Room already made a definitive determination that the puck was over the goal line and therefore it was a good goal. And then you're supposed to reset the clock to whenever the goal was scored, count it, and take the face-off back to center ice. But now Montreal is challenging. Maybe they're challenging for goaltender interference. I don't know. Because I don't have the sound on. Here, let me listen in for a second. That's not goaltender interference either. Goalie ran in there on his own. That's a battle, man. You cannot call that goaltender interference. No, you cannot call something that soft goaltender interference when goalie just ran over his own goalie like that. And you can't. Okay, how can you say that's goaltender interference based on the fact of him not having time to reset and make the save when he literally caught the puck with his glove? How can you make that determination? The goalie was in position because he made the save. It just, the glove was determined to be over the goal line. This is going to be interesting, but like, that's more on goalie than it is on anybody. You cannot possibly call that goaltender interference saying that he couldn't get reset in time if he literally made the save and just couldn't keep the glove over the line. What the fuck? Oh god, I'm so happy that Carolina is not involved in this situation. Okay, maybe I would have had a bit of a cow on stream over that. That's that's one of the weirdest situations I've seen unfold in a while. I'll just be straight up honest with you guys. He couldn't make the save even though he caught the puck in his glove and it was determined to be goaltender interference when the whole basis of goaltender interference is if the goalie is interfered with and due to the contact unable to reset and make the save. But that, man, that was some That was some JT Real Muto pretend catcher interference bullshit going on there. All right. Has Dave Jackson ever agreed with a like disagreed with a call? Because I can't remember a time he did. He couldn't make the save, but he did make the save. It's just the whole glove went over the goal line. All right. I don't know how to I don't know what to say about that one. That was weird. I'm not on anybody's side in that. Like I said, I hope both these teams kill each other. That's a that's a weird situation that just unfolded there though. Well, the best part is something good didn't happen for the Buffalo Sabres, and I'm okay with that 100% of the time. Frank, do you believe that? See, even Matheson, who's more of a stay-at-home guy, is really good at activating when Montreal's like in the offensive zone there, and then curling back at the right time, and then just leave Jake Evans all alone there, and then absolutely insane puck movement. I want to watch this again. Let's see. And if he hadn't buried it, Demidov would have been right there to get the next rebound. So how many shots on goal is that Montreal has now, and they've already scored once? That was their third one, I think. Whenever it pops back up, I'll see. All right, I'm going to pull the stats up here and look at this because pretty sure that was only their third shot on goal. That was Montreal's third shot on goal. That's what I'm saying. They're very deliberate with how they generate their chances. Even on a situation that should have been an easy zone exit for Buffalo. See, I wish I could do live replays and stuff on here and talk about goals like right when they happen and actually tell us straight stuff, but I'm not in that social class. All right, let's get some more of the comments here. Because I'm also actively, like, while I'm taking notes on this, I'm working on the slides to do the series damage report tomorrow night. Oh boy, there's a lot of y'all in here. Dylan asked if the Braves still have the best record. Yes, the Braves currently have a .683 winning percentage and are the best team in baseball in several different categories right now. How about Quinn Hughes? He isn't so bad, this hockey thing. Definitely the most talented Hughes by a landslide, in my opinion. Oh, yeah, and that was always the case. J-Dub says, I think that's a goal. Lubeck says, Dobich is the biggest thing to worry about if Montreal advances. I'm actually less worried about their goaltending. I'm worried about their transition game and how high their shooting percentages are because they don't need to generate a ton of chances, i.e. like that. Like, they've got to have the highest team shooting percentage in the playoffs right now as far as goals scored per shot on goal. Like, they have to have the best one. Like, I'll double check at some point, probably during the intermission, but that's got to be the case. See, like right here is one of those times where Buffalo's got a decent amount of sustained offensive zone pressure. And if Buffalo can do it, Carolina can. I just don't want them to try to stop every single breakout and get burned in the event that they play Montreal. Damon says this one you actually see the puck, though. That's a goal. Dylan says, oh my God, there's a guy next to the refs wearing a KK sweater. Yeah, I saw that one. But this in the same way deeper in the net than Freddie's was. Yeah, I don't know what to make of all that, man. That was that whole thing was weird. White gloves only after this. Yeah. Or puck tracking technology, like we pay as much as we do for tickets and merchandise and everything like that. You'd think that they would invest in that, but I think the NHL just enjoys the drama of it. I really do, because it gets them click revenue as opposed to, just trying to use modern technology to maintain the integrity of the game, i.e., baseball's using ABS now, which I think was the happy medium between having human umpires and robot umpires. But that would have never been a discussion if Angel Hernandez wasn't a prick. What is going on? Yep. That's more like goalie interference than the Carrier one. Yeah, and that's, yeah. Yeah, I don't think that was interference. I really don't. BTS, what's up, pal? Just watched the play. I didn't see any goalie interference, but there's absolutely no way to know with how consistent it is. Daniel E says clown show, circus music, yeah. Because the stick hit his glove. I guess, I don't know. He couldn't make the save, but he did make the save. That's the funny thing. Schrodinger's save. I swear the refs make this up as they go. That one's more on the war room than the officials, or than the officials on the ice. Dylan Bollinger says, I will say St. Louis is my second favorite coach. I've always liked him as a non-Hurricane. Like, one of my current favorite non-Hurricanes the last few years has been Landeskog from the Avs. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I really did like Martin St. Louis. Like, to be undrafted and get as far as he did in the league, that says something. And let's see, I'm going to check on something else. Good entry there. Yeah, that's going to be a penalty. Let's get another look at this one. Slumped, what's up, bud? Lineup versus lineup. Where do you think the Canes have an advantage against the Habs? Goaltending's a toss-up, even if Freddie continues to play as well as he is. Transition game, Montreal has that. Defense, Carolina has that. Depth scoring, I would say Carolina has that. The forechecking by Carolina is much more blue-collar, whereas Montreal, it's more white-collar, i.e. the goal that they scored there. I would still give that edge to Carolina. Physicality, that could go either way. Ultimately, on paper, Carolina has a lot of advantages, but like I've said, the way Montreal plays is a perfect countermeasure for how Carolina plays. Damon says that drained Buffalo of all momentum. Yeah, they look a little flat now. They were starting to generate something there, but now that's done since that abbreviated power play, and you're on 4-on-4 now, so it's like New Hook line is on fire. Yeah, it is. UPL is so shaky, I wouldn't start him ever in a playoff game. Yeah, I guess they were just trying to give I guess they're just trying to give Alex Lyon a break, but see, I think UPL is actually a good goalie and that there's a lot there. But he also played on a team that was bad for a long time until this season, so goaltending is one of those things where if it were to be Carolina and Buffalo, Kelly Sutherland is really off his game tonight. Oh, okay, Dovish didn't have the puck the first. Okay. I was under the impression that he blew the whistle after it was already loose the second time, but Dovish had it covered again. Okay, never mind. Kelly Sutherland is not off his game. TJ Luxmore is never on his game, though. I'll never give that guy any credit for anything. Daniel says, I didn't see it, but it seems like the game should be 2-1 Buffalo. You missed quite the sequence of events, my friend. You missed quite the sequence of events there. Whenever I look at the Habs game and they have 5 Sogs with 2 goals, I always think it's unsustainable, but they keep on doing it. And they've been doing it all season. One of the teams they did it to the most was Carolina. So that's why it's like I say things like take notes on who you might be playing in the future, because you got to make adjustments regardless, especially at this point, because you're about to have the 2 hardest series that you've had all season. And as far as where a series with Montreal would rank in all the series the Canes have had, it will be right up there with the Florida series, both of them, for different reasons. Moose says Sabres need to solve Montreal's offense, then that'll be a series. Otherwise, it can be a 5-game series. Yeah, and it's kind of the same thing for Carolina, but I feel like that formulaically they have a lot more to solve that problem than Buffalo does right now. What a save. Jack High is definitely a Montreal sandpaper guy. Him and Matheson both. Daniel says, I could hear my mom shouting at the TV downstairs. I was basing that off of reading these comments and watching your stream. Yeah, that was a weird sequence. Man, I would love to have Tage Thompson on this Canes team. Yeah, and unfortunately that ship has sailed now. He ain't going nowhere because Buffalo's finally good. All it took was them firing their GM and everybody getting put on notice that nobody was safe. Thank you, Kevin Adams, for everything you did to ruin the Sabres as long as you did. I wish you could have stayed and done more for at least another 40 years or so. But we appreciate what you did. Daniel says she's doing the same thing you're doing. Yeah, I was kind of like... All right, let me pull this front page up here on Natural Stat Trick, because I'm going to want to look at what's going on at the end of the intermission here. Because with these numbers, it's like I imagine Buffalo's probably got a higher... When this period's over, I'm expecting Buffalo to have a higher expected goals at 5-on-5, higher shot attempts, basically everything but more goals, unless they score in the next 5 minutes and 3 seconds here. Lubeck says they did that against Florida and Tampa last year, even with that crazy offense in the regular season. Rod certainly needs to study heavily last year's Washington series. Yeah, if there's a series that I think will have some similarities to that one, it would be this one. Montreal, I think, is a significantly better team, especially if you're talking about transition game and generating offense, like dangerous first shot off the rush after a really good clean entry that happens very quickly. Montreal is significantly better at that than Washington. Washington's actually not all too dissimilar from Carolina in a lot of ways because they run the man-on-man defense, and how you run your defense, whether you do a man-on-man or a zone hybrid style, dictates a lot of what you do with the puck. So Carolina and Washington had a lot of similarities in that regard, and Washington wasn't going to beat Carolina at their own game. Not that way. Honestly, Carolina, if they hadn't played like garbage in game two, they probably would have swept Washington, but they just played awful in that game. They just, game two, they were not good. I was like, that was the one game I remember being pissed off at William Carrier the entire time he's been a Hurricane, but the whole team sucked that night in game two versus Washington. Dylan says the Caps beat Montreal in round one last year, then Carolina beat the Caps. I know, not the same team fully, etc. But yeah, but the thing about it is Montreal. It's more so that the pieces they already had took a lot of steps. Primarily Hudson, Caulfield, Slavkovsky, guys like that. They're basically the same team, but they've had a lot of growth. That's where that's what makes them it's not too dissimilar from Carolina. 2019 Hurricanes were a good team that had a lot to build on, and that's ultimately what they did. And one of the reasons I didn't think that they were going to win the cup this year, even though that looks like a greater possibility than it was before, was I was like, okay, the guys you have, the newer, younger guys, particularly Stankov, Blake, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, are going to have to take another step and take another step and take another step. And I always thought it would be next season before they really got to where they needed to be. The stuff that Stankoven and Blake in particular are doing right now, and Nikishin's not too far behind that. The stuff that they're doing right now is stuff I didn't expect to see them doing until next season. But they've got a really damn good coach. So I think that that helps. Slump says, who has the best prospect pool in the league right now? San Jose, if you ask me. Like, and it's only going to get better because they've got the second overall pick. That team, their organizational depth, they're pretty stacked. Um, if St. Louis plays their cards right, because they did a really good job selling before the deadline, they'll have the best prospect pool in the league in 2 seasons if they don't have the best one now, because theirs is really good. Um, Carolina, I would say, is still in the top five, but something's got to be done with Nadeau, whether that's finding a way to shoehorn him in, which, if I'm expecting Jarvis to go down for surgery when this season is over. Wow. That was a pretty sick save. See, if it had gone over the line, even though the goal's off, that would have counted. Unless they found another reason to wave it off. Because if they determined that the puck was over the line before, they would have blown the whistle for the net coming off. But that was a really sick save. Why are you freezing? 2026 and damn computer freezing. Or not the computer freezing, the stream freezing. The ESPN one, not this one for once. In fact, Carolina nearly both swept the Devils and the Caps with the 24-25 Hurricanes. Yeah, because that team was not supposed to do any of that. I was expecting a middle of the second round exit out of that team. I really was. But they secured enough home ice to make it happen. So you just created like the most offensively minded defenseman ever, Dylan. John Carlson with a K. Having the hardest shot in the playoffs thus far. Let's not sleep on these Ducks. I'm not worried about Anaheim in the slightest. Anaheim's best hope is to have Jacob Trouba go out there and try to injure somebody. I am not worried about Anaheim. And I say that with all the respect in the world for guys like Lucas Dostal, Leo Carlson, Beckett Seneca, and so on and so forth. But Anaheim is another one of those young, fast, relatively inexperienced forward groups that has a couple of veterans on the blue line that really, supplement the physical game and help protect those guys and everything. But they're like a watered down version of Montreal. Not worried about Anaheim at all. I don't think they're going to get there anyway, but it would be kind of funny if they did knock Vegas off. I'd be all right with that because I'm not the biggest Vegas fan. Dylan says one of my biggest issues this playoff so far is I want more physical from Nikish and more one-timers. He's hardly played though, man. He's nothing you can really do about that. He missed a couple of games, so, and then he's not been on the power play lately because they probably need to cycle him back in on the they need to cycle him back in during practice if they want to put him back on PP2. But at the same time, Miller's been doing fine on it, and I'm reluctant to change stuff when it's working personally. But if Byram had got a hold of that puck, man, that was a good entry though. But that shot was just awful. And extracurriculars, yes, more of this. Yes, let them. Yeah, the more of this, the better. Damn. All right. Dobson's a pretty good puck moving defenseman too, but he's not even close to being in the same stratosphere as Lane Hudson is. It wouldn't be as hard to shut him down as Hudson would be. Hudson's almost a single point of he's almost a one of one asset when it comes to puck moving defensemen on the Habs. Dobson's good, Hudson's great. If you mitigate or neutralize Hudson, Dobson probably doesn't do enough on his own to turn the tide of a series or maybe even a single game. That's one player I've just never been super impressed with. He's okay for what he is, but he's nothing particularly special. 2 minutes and 53 seconds of offensive zone time, and Montreal scored a goal with just that. Just the amount of lethality that their shooters have. Definitely going to write that down for the notes. Hudson's a small guy, but he gallops like a horse. He skates like what you would expect a bigger player to skate like, just the way that like his strides and his mechanics are. It's not normal. It is not normal at all. It's insane how good of a skater that kid is. He's right up there with Schaefer as far as how good someone can be at skating. Good hit. A touch late, maybe, but a good hit. I'm glad they let that go. Are they calling a penalty on that? Yep. Yeah, you kind of have to call that, I guess. It's not the worst cross check ever, but you're nowhere near the puck. There's no need for that. You could have tied up his stick. You know better than that, Tage. And Lindy Ruff doing the old man yells at cloud thing again. Bruh. That was just nasty. I swear that kid can he can fit a puck into a coin slot. He had no room there whatsoever, and he was just perfectly patient with it. That's just that was just insane. I can't I can't hate on that, man. That was just see because a lot of guys, for lack of a better term, lower IQ players or grinder type players or just not elite caliber players like Caulfield is, not elite shooters anyway, wouldn't have had the extra, had the patience to take the extra second there and dangle it a little bit and wait for the 5-hole to open up. That was incredibly impressive. Alrighty. Well, I'm going to take a break. I will be back in 10 minutes. I will see you guys shortly. If this will come up. Okay, sorry about that. My mic and my camera were both being very weird for some reason. StreamYard's a great platform, but it ain't always perfect. All right, let's see what else we got here for comments before our second period gets started. Wow, what a save, referring to the stick save that UPL made. Good save there. I hate hearing Dave Jackson speak. I do too. I can't think of a time that he's disagreed with the officials. It's like he's just there to be a yes man. It's like it's like in Looney Tunes when, you have Boss and Muggsy, and Boss goes around, yeah, 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 or the fat lady gets it, and Muggsy's like, yeah, or the fat lady gets it. Like, that's what he is. He's Muggsy from Looney Tunes. Like, he's probably paid very well to do that. That's fine. We all got to make a living, but I'm calling it what it is. Daniel says, I expected a second round exit last year, too. Didn't have our best run since 06 on my bingo card. Yeah, I don't want to call that the best run since 06 because the Hurricanes played significantly better in the 23 conference finals than they did last season. They just happened to the law of averages finally went in their favor and they finally won a game. And like I said, that was by far Rod's worst game management as a coach, was that ECF last season. He does not seem to be making mistakes like that this time, though. He's only had to make an adjustment one time, and he went right back to the normal lines after that, and everything has worked out fine. So I've been significantly less critical of him this year than I think I have been in probably a long time. Because 24-25 team, I understand that it wasn't supposed to be as good, but I was still getting kind of irritated with some of the stuff going on. Dylan says, what's funny, all these guys the Rangers sent away ended up in the playoffs, it seems. Yeah, let's see. Miller. Kreider. Who else am I forgetting? Trouba was the year before. Let me know if I'm forgetting anybody, but those are the two that come to mind immediately. Daniel says, Hudson's OT winner against Tampa was an impressive cannon of a shot. Yeah, that little guy can shoot a puck. He can do everything. And it's like a lot of people see a defenseman with a lot of points and think that they can't defend. Hudson had to make some adjustments to his defensive game, but I remember watching Montreal back in like February, and I remember making a post saying that Lane Hudson had a really defensive shift at one point, and he replicates that a lot more often nowadays than he has in the past. So, Bullmoose says Dobson and Slav are both like low IQ. It seems. I think Slavkovsky is low IQ in general, not just with hockey, but like he can count to potato, I think. I don't think that he would very much like the apprenticeship that I'm about to take on, because I think I'm going to switch from cybersecurity to doing manufacturing megatronics or something like that, because I think I would enjoy it more. So, and the money's really good, and it's got a lot like unlimited overtime type job, and that's what I'd rather have because I like to make money. Dylan says he did cross-check him, but damn, he went diving for gold. Now, I mean, you could have made a case to take them both for sure, referring to the Tage Thompson cross-check on Caden Gooley. That was sick, yeah. Robert says, looks like Carolina's playing Montreal. I won't count the chickens before they hatch, but I always expected Montreal to win this series. I initially said 7, but I tend to overestimate how long a series is going to last. Dylan says, Carolina need to call that plate against Tampa. So you think Bradley Nadeau would be the closest Carolina can have to a Caulfield or a Kucherov? Carolina does not have anything close to a Kucherov. Not at all. I just don't see any player in Carolina's system being like Kucherov at all. Nadeau is probably the closest thing you have to Cole Caulfield. That being said, he's still not close to him. He's the closest thing you have, potentially. But being as good as Cole Caulfield, I think that's a bit of a stretch. He might be 85% of Cole Caulfield, but I don't think he'll be as good as him. And considering how the roster is constructed right now, oh, and by the way, people who are saying stuff about, oh, well, how is Nadeau going to get called up if, Jankowski got signed? Those things are completely exclusive of each other. Jankowski is a bottom six center, or depending on who you ask, a 13th forward. But he plays a completely different position, and it has absolutely nothing to do with where Nadeau would be in the lineup, because Nadeau, ideally, is a top six winger who will hopefully play his offside. Nothing to do with Jankowski. I can blame Mark Jankowski for a lot of things. We have 2 periods of hockey, or had 2 periods of extra hockey this playoffs for the Hurricanes because of him, but the Nadeau thing, that's not his fault, and why people are even saying that, I don't understand. Those have nothing to do with each other. Nothing. If you want to be mad at anybody for that, which would be stupid to be mad about it, if you want to be mad at anybody for Nadeau not making the team right now, Jackson Blake took that spot and ran with it when he was given the opportunity, and he's playing incredibly well. Tom Ray and I, before Game 4, we talked about how much of an impact that Jackson Blake has been having on this team the last couple of months, and particularly in the playoffs, and it's been outstanding. So while we got a minute here before the game starts up again, let's look at the 5-on-5 metrics for these two teams. Okay. All right. Corsi favors the Sabres at 62.07%. They have 18 shot attempts for, 11 against. Fenwick, not much different, 69.57, which is 16 on net, or 16 through for them, 7 for Montreal. Scoring chance for, 71.43% favoring Buffalo, 10-4, or I'm sorry, 66.67 for Buffalo, 10-4, 5 against. High danger chances for, 4-2, favoring Buffalo. Expected goals for, 1.2 to 0.48, favoring Buffalo. That is all at 5-on-5. Buffalo, or the Canadiens total have 18 shot attempts, 10 shots through, 6 on net, 4 high danger chances, and 2 goals on 0.97 expected goals in all situations. That's pretty insane. That's why that team worries me. The lethality that lineup has is just, it's something else. J-Dub says, is it possible that they see a glaring problem in his game like they did Morrow and are just waiting for the right piece to trade for? With him, not so much. The closest thing to a glaring problem in Nadeau's game is he probably needs to bulk up and put a little bit of muscle on more. Or put on a little bit more muscle, I should say. And Shane Doan did a good job protecting that puck there. Nothing came of it ultimately, but sustaining the offensive zone for a little bit because of it. But I don't see so much of a glaring problem with that, and not to mention, it's not as much of an issue with a forward who's a little bit underdeveloped in some way than it is a defenseman, especially with the way that Carolina plays. Last year, particularly, because they couldn't really outscore their problems. With Nadeau, it's more of a, there's just no room, as Tim Stutzla would say. Dylan says, what I meant is we need the Cole that should be up during the Tampa series. He didn't have a goal that entire series. Yeah, but I'm taking, even without Hedman, I'm taking Tampa's defense over Buffalo's, and that's a compliment at the same time, though, because Buffalo's defense is pretty solid. A lot of people said that they got worse at the deadline. They got bigger and meaner on the blue line with the additions that they made, so I think that they did a pretty good job there. And Montreal's going back on the power play. Tony, what's up, buddy? J-Dub says, just asking because I was never aware of anything horrible with Morrow until he actually played. I had a lot of high hopes for Morrow, but when he pulled up from hitting Tkachuk in the first period, when Tkachuk was barely able to skate because of how badly he was injured, Like, that's when I was like, I was done with him. Just that split second alone, I was like, yeah, get him out of here. And I got what I wanted out of that, thankfully, because like if I'd seen him stay on the Hurricanes, I would have been a very negative and pessimistic person this year. See, the whole thing with me making fun of Jankowski and everything like that, that's a bit. I actually like Jankowski. Morrow, I legitimately don't like at all. And it was not because of the 3 goals that were his faults or the dog pog that he committed with nobody within 20 feet of him at a minimum, if not more. It was him pulling up when he had a chance to lay. He had a chance to put Matthew Tkachuk in the 200 section, and he just straight. You could see the fear on his face when he pulled away from it. And then people had the audacity to say, "Oh, well, are you giving up on the player too easy?" I'm like, I just know when someone's going to fit the Hurricanes and when they're not. And I'm not entirely sure Morrow's staying in the NHL. I don't think he's going to have a career. Dylan says, who do you think would be the better overall player between Bradley Nadeau or Felix Unger-Sorm? That's a tough one. I would say as far as a more complete player, Felix Unger-Sorm, a more talented player who's going to contribute offensively more, I would say that's Nadeau. And that's from a goal scoring and a playmaking standpoint. That's a tough decision. I could see one or both of those guys being dealt over the summer for Carolina to go ahead and maybe add another really good winger. J-Dub says he might as well have pissed himself. He just straight, he had him totally lined up, had him totally beat. It might have been a touch late. Man, I'm going to hold my breath every time Cole Caulfield shoots a puck against the Hurricanes if that's who they end up playing. Floodgates are opening for Cole Hudson now. Or, I mean, for Cole Caulfield now. If I've accidentally said Cole Hudson instead of Lane Hudson, forgive me. I talked to my friend Anthony and a couple of my other Caps friends about Cole Hudson quite a bit because I'm very impressed with him. So if I accidentally do that, please forgive me in advance. I still accidentally call Sean Walker Scott Walker, and they're not even related. And there's times I accidentally call Jackson Blake Jason Blake, and as you know, Jason Blake is Jackson Blake's dad. So there's times where I accidentally do that. But yeah, it's... Luukkonen barely got across to get that shot. Tony says, I wonder if Jarvis gets his surgery finally, then Nadeau could take his spot while he's gone. I think that's a good plan of action. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if that's what the organization decides to do. See, even like broken plays turn out well for Montreal. Just offense does not die on their stick at all, anywhere. Alexander Texier has fit in pretty well there. Seems like players leave Columbus and they find better fits like him, Yegor Chinakov. Or as some might call him, China Cough. Tony says you could also do the same thing with Slavin since Nystrom is on an NHL contract next season. Yeah, and Legault too. I think Legault needs an extension here soon. But I don't see that being a problem. Check that. Legault's got another season on his ELC, so you don't have to worry about that just yet. But both of those guys would be available, so that could get done if Slavin needs to have anything done. And if that needs to be done, regardless of how the season ends, get it done. I can care less what spot the Hurricanes go into in the playoffs. It's nice to have all the home ice advantage and stuff, but you're probably going to see Florida again next year. If you can go into the playoffs at full strength, I can care less about home ice advantage. And home ice advantage didn't mean shit against Florida last season. I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything. I'm trying to cut back on the swearing on streams and everything because I've had people message me and say, "Hey, I want my kids to be able to watch these and stuff like that, but you got to tone down the language." And I'm making a conscious effort to do that. I was a sailor, as you guys know, and honestly, I was pretty foul mouthed when I was a kid. Just to be perfectly honest about it. Squeeze it, squeeze it. I don't even think he knew where that puck was. I think he was looking over his shoulders trying to locate it and just squeeze the pads together. That's just good hockey IQ by a goalie. Dovish's movement is so good. No panic in that situation either. So he lost the rebound, looking over his shoulder for it. Quinn was trying to bounce that off the back of his skate and into the net. Tony says, I saw your attempt to censor yourself the last time I saw you. Yeah, I'm trying to be better about that. I really am. I mean, I work in a warehouse now, so I can use whatever language I want there. But Dylan says, speaking of leaving Columbus, how about getting Fantilli? I would love that, but it's not happening. Then again, it's Don Waddell, and he signed Charlie Coyle to a 6-year extension at the age of 34, so never say never, but... that's going to be a penalty. Panthers J-Dub says Jack Quinn playing like Jank. I'd trade Jankowski for Jack Quinn without a second thought if that could happen. Matty BNC, what's up, buddy? Hey, man, what are your thoughts on the Jankowski extension and signing Serrato? Both good moves. This organization has been kind of thin at the center position historically. So anything they can do to insulate that depth there, considering Kotkaniemi needs to be gone. No, I've made it abundantly clear. I think that could have worked out a whole lot better. And then I also made it abundantly clear I thought he should have been gone at the deadline and just be done with that situation because he's not going to play. The amount of injuries that would have to happen for Kotkaniemi to play at this point means that the Canes are probably in a tough spot anyway with how many players being out. You might as well just call it a day on him. What I'm expecting to happen is they're going to try to trade him one more time. Nobody's going to take him because Carolina's not going to retain salary. And they're going to go to buy him out in a team that has the cap space, which won't be hard considering the cap's going up by over $8 million. All right, let me get Matthew in here. Considering the cap going up by $8 million, you know, a team that has the room for him and the need for him will grab him, probably a bottom feeder team. What I'm expecting to happen from there, if he can reinvent his game, he will not end the season on the same team that he starts on next year. So we'll see what happens. As far as centers that are kind of semi-realistic targets, Shane Wright moves up the list for me a whole lot during the offseason because then you get a training camp to work with him because there's an incredibly talented player there that just has some gaps in his game. Dylan says, but no D-man contract coming to an end, I believe. Let's see. There's 3 more years of Sean Walker.
Oh.
Miller is good for another 7. Slavin's good for another 7. Chatfield's got 1 more. But his job is the only one that's up for grabs. Even then, that's going to be a stretch. Nikishin's going to get extended. Yeah, there's no defenseman up for anything right now. So, like, you don't even have to worry about extending Legault for another year. So, like, the Canes are, like, stacked on the blue line. And plus, Slave and Chatfield and Miller have all had sons now, so Tulski's probably going to have all them drafted by 2044. So the Canes are good there. They're good.
Yeah, that's right.
They're not gonna need to worry about defensemen for a while.
Speaking of good, Montreal.
Yeah,
man, like got a double minor to kill off here, but they're doing it. And
see what they don't do in gaps, they make up for with selling out and blocking shots.
Let's deflected out. Okay.
Like fundamentally and systematically, they're not that good defensively, but they make up for that with elbow grease, the way that they block shots. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't catch the game until now. I watched a little bit of the highlights and saw the goals. And freaking Alex Newhook, man, I'm tired. I'm so tired of him.
Guess
I'm so sick of him already.
Guess what shot on goal that was for them?
It was the first shot, wasn't it?
Third. That was their third one the entire period. At that point, I read off the 5-on-5 numbers, and it's lopsided as hell.
It's so utterly predictable.
They might have broke Domish.
Oh, really?
Oh my God! I can't believe he let that in.
My goodness! I'm like 10 or so seconds ahead of you. You are kidding me. Is that you are? What happened off a stanchion and between his legs?
Bro, he got Vladard.
That's a UP. That's a diggity dig. Let me see what happened.
He knew at the moment that puck bounced off of him.
Oh my goodness! And it was not. Oh my! It wasn't even going in the net, and it just hit him. Are you kidding me?
And Buffalo still got half a double minor to work with. They got it in the first 2 minutes.
Oh.
That's a 1 in a million thing, though, man.
That's
insane.
Lucky than good. Better lucky than good. Wow. That I mean, the only thing you can say is that hey, Montreal, don't double minor high stick people, but
even then though, that's a 1 in a million thing.
Yeah, totally. That is ridiculous. That is way worse than remember the 5-on-3 goal that Svechnikov scored in the regular season against Ottawa?
Yeah.
That's kind of like that one, except way worse. Oh, nice move.
Oh, to generate
honestly,
entry.
That's how you're gonna have to beat Dobesh is like some bullshit.
Well, I mean, if there's one team who can score bullshit goals, it's Carolina.
I don't know. Buffalo apparently can. Golly, it's just I'm so impressed with Montreal against my will. But we'll see. Maybe Buffalo can steal this. Bad pass. I'm at 11:38 here.
Here, let me pause. Let me know when you're at 11:18.
All right. It's been 3, 2, 1 now.
All right, going. Yeah, I'm sitting here taking notes right now on both of them. So,
yeah, I mean that was a nice play for Buffalo to get the lead in the beginning, but
I'm not scared of Buffalo at all.
Yeah, I'm.
As far as the West goes, I'm concerned about anybody Carolina would play in the finals except Anaheim. I think Carolina would.
Yeah, I think we can handle Vegas. I'm pretty confident. I mean, Vegas would be. This time, I think we can handle Vegas. Yeah, like oh my goodness, almost happened again. Not quite as egregious, but.
Yeah, if it happens more than once, it's not an accident anymore. It's a science.
All right, it's intentional. But you can tell, like, honestly, you can say that Buffalo deserves something like that, like with the shots at 17-10. Because, like, this is Montreal. This is their game. Like, they play a counterattack. That's all they do is they counterattack off the rush.
They can't have more than 7 shots on goal at 5-on-5 after that.
But they're all high danger, and they're usually all like a 3-on-2 or a 2-on-1.
And they're the best high danger chances that you can generate.
And that's their game. This is
going to be the most asymmetrical matchup the Hurricanes have ever had if Montreal advances. Those teams cannot be any different
anymore. Yeah. Buffalo is just
now they're missing the net on purpose, trying to
get some bounces. Yeah,
I mean that works.
Buffalo.
Kevin Bieksa did it to Tim Thomas back in the finals in 2010, and then when they interviewed him about it, he's like, "Yeah, I did that on purpose." No, don't tell them that, idiot.
You can tell me you did it on purpose after you won the cup.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell them that. I'd be like, "No, that was an accident." Now he's looking for it because they knew he came out to challenge aggressively, so. He shot it wide, bounced it off the kick plate, and
that is still so ridiculous that.
See, that's about the lowest quality chance that Montreal generates one like that.
Right.
And even
that is like basically 1-on-1 with the goalie from the circle. Tage Thompson, that's it, buddy. That's how you do it. That's how you draw it up.
He didn't even realize he scored at first, I think, until Dobish looked behind him. And I think Zach Benson realized that Tage scored before he did.
Yeah, that is just nuts. That is just so nuts. Tony, do I think Tulsky were threatened an offer sheet? I don't think we're going to do anything at all during free agency. Like, I think we will literally do not a thing. And,
I mean, it also kind of depends on how this season ends, I think.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure that it does. I think the only thing that might happen in the offseason is we give Freddie another year.
I'm okay with that, the way he's playing right now.
But it's fine.
If we experience Game 6 versus the Rangers again, send him to China and be done with it.
Thank you. Bottomless app for $9.99.
So we got Jenk for 2 more years. Our favorite Chinese player. Our favorite Chinese player who
I'm so good with it because
if he just did a couple push-ups, he'd have scored.
If Carolina, I'd rather this outcome than Carolina continue to be razor thin at the center position because now you have Aho, Stankoven, Stahl, Jankowski, Serrato, Ryabkin, Robidoff.
Yeah, I like his game. I actually do like his game. I just don't like that he can't hit water if he fell out of a boat. Like if he just had any amount of upper body strength, that's in the net. Like, don't give me the excuse that it was bouncing. Yes, it was bouncing a little bit.
That's why you bear down on the stick.
That's why
I know it happened really fast.
Put some pressure. That's why you put pressure on the stick and fire it into the open net. Like, yeah, he kills penalties. He skates well. Solid defensively. So,
yeah, which is, that's all hallmarks of being a Hurricane. It's all those things. I'm just waiting on Kotkaniemi to go somewhere and get 60 points in that narrative to start. And I'm going to be like, I told you. Matty VNC says, where do you think Austin Matthews is going? I'm predicting either Minnesota or San Jose. I don't think he's going anywhere yet. I think they're going to
not yet, not with the number 1 overall pick. They're going to see how the
1-2 punch works out between him and McKenna.
Yeah,
and then they'll go from there. And that's why when I see people saying that, McKenna's going to be drafted 3rd instead, no, that's not happening. You don't pass up a player that good.
Yeah, I mean, there is an argument for Stenberg, 1 overall. He is a more complete player, but he's not a more dynamic talent. And
no.
And and Toronto's not passing up the Canadian boy.
They would burn the city down.
Yeah, like they're not passing on him. The fact that Stenberg is going to go to San Jose, apparently, like San Jose is thinking of shopping the second overall pick for defense. I mean, well, we got a lot of defensemen.
We do, but not. There's only one that's second round pick worthy, and I don't want him to go anywhere.
Yeah, but San Jose also, they have like no blue line. Except maybe Mario Ferraro. He's the only semi-decent. He's like a third pair guy.
Well, and you know what's funny? He's actually like my dream team. He would be on it.
And he is good. Whew.
Everyone knows how much
good.
of a
I
Mario
like
Ferraro nerd I am.
Yeah, and I like him. I like him a lot. But he is, I think he's like maybe number 4 best case. He's the number 4 defenseman. More likely 5 or 6.
Well, Burns is going back to San Jose after this, so he can continue to play until he's 100 years old.
I mean, maybe he might do that. Actually,
I can see him doing that to finish his career out there. I mean, he'll finish his career out sometime in like 2036, but it'll probably be in San Jose.
Look at Montreal in this power play. They're just
the way they move the puck around. Nobody is mobile.
It's like Tampa Bay. It reminds me of Tampa
Everyone's
Bay,
mobile.
and yeah. And seriously, like if Hudson. As soon as Hudson gets the puck on his stick, good luck.
Yeah,
like it's all survival from there. If Hudson gets the puck on his stick at the key at the top,
that's why I was telling people like, don't try and forecheck Montreal into submission. Beat them in the neutral zone. Because if you try to forecheck Lane Hudson, he's just going to leave you in the dust, and then that's one less guy that's taking away ice in the neutral zone to try and prevent an entry later. Just. Let him have that.
Like all whew.
And see, that's the thing. Look at how they're all moving their feet. Wherever the puck goes, they reposition
it's
themselves.
So impressive.
Yeah. Wow.
And
if it had been anyone other than Bolduc.
Yeah, it's a breakaway if it's anyone else. Golly. I mean, probably won't score
Dobson
here,
here's someone I'm not too impressed with. I never have been, though.
Yeah. But golly, I mean, this is just, they're just incredibly dangerous.
Like, okay, watch Bolduc at the top of the circle here, where a lot of players would be stationary. The moment that shot goes on net, he's moving his feet again.
There were like 5 high danger chances. There were 5 high danger chances on that power play.
Yeah,
5.
There had to be. See, everyone talks about Caulfield's shot. His hands need to be talked about too.
What movement? That is just. Now we should, we should absolutely finish every check we get hard.
Yeah.
Because that can wear them down. And like Paul Maurice said, when it was, I think it was Florida versus Boston in their big upset. He said, pound their D, and by the end of Game 7, they have nothing left.
Yeah, and then the other thing is like, the other thing is, it's like Montreal will sell out to block shots, but like that's going to wear you out after a while against Carolina.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to do it a lot. If they're having to block 18, 20, 25 shots a game, that's going to wear you out over the course of a series. There's an attrition factor to that. Even with as good as the pads are now.
That's the best way we're going to, because I mean, like I think Montreal, hope I'm wrong, but they could definitely stun us in Game 1. In fact, I'm kind of expecting it.
I'm not.
You're not?
Nope.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope you're right.
Okay, I mean, it's just I have been pessimistic as hell about this team basically for the last 2 years. And ever since Jarvis fought Gergensen's, a switch flipped with me. I was like, I've felt a lot better about it ever since. But don't get me wrong, Montreal is the worst matchup possible for Carolina. But I'm not as afraid of them as I was during the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it will be a little bit. It will be different. I mean, if it's a Game 7, I'm terrified. But like just a 7-game series. Again, we get the attrition and we can wear them down. I do think that's our path to victory over Montreal. But golly, are they dangerous? They are just so freaking dangerous. It's just ridiculous.
That movie looks incredibly dumb.
Yeah, it does. Sorry, I got
I can't.
mesmerized by the stupid for a second
Yeah,
there.
I did too. I just
It's
I,
like
I can't remember the last time anything entertainment related was coming out that made me excited at all. I'd rather rewatch all the stuff that I like than watch anything new. I'm sure
I
if I
heard
watch
Project Hail Mary was good.
it
I heard it
was
was good. I haven't seen it. I heard it
okay.
was good. I haven't seen it, but I did hear good things about it.
Okay,
And
I might check that out.
from my brother who is very difficult to please. So
Well, I'm the same way with like anything aviation related. I can pick that apart, as you know. So it's like, oh, by the way, I started Halo 4 just because I've got it. I might as well play it. It's not really holding my interest, though. I think I'm going to take a while finishing that one. I've got Reach downloaded too.
Reach was good. Reach was
good.
hard.
Okay.
Reach was incredibly difficult.
I like games that are hard because I don't want to finish something in one day.
Yeah, ODST isn't a long game, but it's also quite challenging if you play on Legendary.
ODST had an anticlimactic ending for me because there was a glitch where one of the brutes got stuck between a car and a wall, and I threw one of those sticky grenades at him and killed him. And I'm like, that cannot be the end of this game. And then I see Sergeant Johnson come in there, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it's over because he dies in 3. Stupid monitor killing good characters.
Yeah. But I love the I think it was the police station level in ODST where you're Romeo the sniper.
Yeah.
And that's my I love the sniper missions. Sniper missions are always my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna do Combat Evolved on Lasso after I'm done with I'm done with Reach and 4.
The library on Lasso is
annoying.
Basically impossible. It's basically it's nigh impossible. Good luck.
It'll keep me in the house and something I can do while I'm fasting and everything because I'm trying to get rid of that last little bit of body fat. So like, I need something that's gonna occupy me because I've got like 15 pounds left to lose, and it's not gonna go away quietly.
So, question: do we move off our 2-1-2 check against Montreal?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Okay.
Let them have
How
their
long
zone.
will it take? How long will it take Brindamore to do it? If ever.
If Carolina loses game 1 because of that, hopefully he'll learn to not repeat mistakes as he has in the past, i.e. putting Scott Morrow in a second time last season. So, we'll see. But Rod's shown that he can adjust and then revert at good times like he did with the Philadelphia series, like when he flipped Martinook and Jarvis. And that worked out fine, and then he went right back to the regular lines. So...
yeah, I mean, I am not – people all over the, Hurricanes world have still been like saying that Aho is not doing enough. Like he passes the eye. I don't know if you see something different, but he passes the eye test for me.
Defensively, he's fine. I want him to
produce. He is shooting a little. He's missing a little bit. He's
look
a little
at who
off
he's
target,
been matched up with, though. Like,
yeah,
Ottawa and Philadelphia spent their best defensive forwards to shut down that line. The Pinto line is the closest thing you have to the Stahl line in the league, and then Couturier, for whatever faults he has as a player, because Philadelphia tends to fault him for a lot of stuff. Derek and I have talked about that. I mean, the biggest villain there is Michkov for whatever reason, which I think is dumb. But it's like Couturier is a really good shutdown center and that can chip in some offense. Sounds like someone we know. Yeah. And it's like playing against players like that when they have time to build a data bank in their head of what you do and find multiple ways to make things difficult for you, they're going to shut you down. The thing with Montreal, Jake Evans does not measure up.
He's not as good.
To either of those guys, and that's
they don't have anyone that they don't really have anyone that's like shut down.
No, they don't have anybody who's going to probably mitigate that line as much as the Pinto line or the Couturier line did.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I'm not worried about with Montreal is their depth forward shutting down Carolina's best players.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about that either. But what I am worried about, of course, is they'll they'll get key blocks, and Dobesh will play amazing, and they'll score on the power play and on the rush.
Well, now we know how
Just
to
like
beat
they did
Dobish, though.
every single but that's what they did in every single regular season game against us.
Well, see, I'm not
They
so much
sold
worried
out to
about
block
that now.
shots. They relied on Dobesh, and they scored on the power play and on the rush.
I'm not as worried about that now because I feel like during the regular season we saw Montreal's best and hadn't seen Carolina's best yet. It's going to be kind of like Montreal's already thrown their best punch, probably. Carolina has not. Not at Montreal.
That's true. That's true.
So I feel like we've kind of seen everything out of Montreal. Carolina, I don't think we
They're
definitely
doing
haven't
the
seen it
wave.
all yet because your best offensive defensemen and your top line have not done anything as far as contributing offensively. So I mean, I'm less worried about that.
Yeah. Another penalty on Buffalo.
Yes, that was a high stick. Just go ahead and call it so Dave Jackson can say why it's the right call without any regard for thinking about it at all. I swear that guy's Baghdad Bob. Oh no, the Americans are nowhere near the Tigris River. Not at all. And then guys in desert camo standing in the background. Sir, we'd like to speak with you. Yes, that's a high stick.
Yeah, it's a high stick.
I don't know
Clearly
why they're booing. That's a high stick all day. What are they booing about? You're getting a power play. Or you should. Okay, that's why they're booing. All right, I understand why they're mad. That should have been a penalty.
That's absolutely a penalty. Boy, did Buffalo get a break there.
Yeah,
That
they
combined with-
did.
So, like, I mean, Buffalo is getting supremely lucky in this game, like unbelievably lucky. They
You know
don't
what?
deserve to
Now that
win.
I think about it, they might match New Hook up with Aho instead.
Yeah, how I haven't looked at their exact depth chart
Well,
and
no,
their
New Hook and
combinations.
Evans are on
Is
the
New
same
Hook-
line now. I forgot Evans
Aren't they both-
isn't a center.
I thought they were both at center.
No, they're
Buffalo!
playing together right now.
Yeah, I feel sacrilegious rooting for Buffalo, but I do want them to win this game.
I can never root for Buffalo because that's kind of like rooting for Hitler or Stalin, but
Right.
like,
golly, Buffalo is getting so lucky.
but this is a Hitler
another high
versus
danger
Stalin
chance.
series to me.
That's true.
So in a way, nobody wins.
I mean, that series against Montreal also had some bad blood.
Yeah,
That was 6 series. That
wasn't anything like Carolina and Buffalo though.
that's true.
Jaroslavsky is the most overrated player I've ever seen in my life. That was some low IQ stuff there. I can count the potato.
Mishandled that. Yeah. Good pass.
That was a good pass.
Yeah, so his vision is great, his shot is great, but his IQ, his hockey sense is bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think he has IQ in anything. If his parents didn't put him on skates, he might be pumping gas or washing dishes, honestly.
Yeah, let me look at their depth chart. See exactly
Yeah, I
how
think
they're doing
they've
it.
got Evans and Newhook playing together, and it's working pretty well. Now Montreal's almost even it up on shots.
Okay. This here does have Evans at center with New Hook playing left wing. Is that what they're doing, or
I think Newhook's been playing center more than Evans has. based
I
on
guess
what
they
I've
could
seen
do either
today.
way. Yeah, they could do it either. They could do either way.
I mean, the way
Um,
St. Louis coaches, though, he might just try to go for net positives across the board and match Suzuki up with Aho, which be my guest.
yeah, Ahu's better.
Yeah.
Like
Well, it's not
Aho-
even just that
Aho would be
Aho's
better.
better. It's just if it becomes a depth fest and they're using Suzuki's line against
That's
Aho's
our-
line and that
that's
opens
our
Stankoven
advantage.
up, I'm good
Yeah.
with it. Do
And
that. Go ahead.
Suzuki, I mean, with Suzuki, Caulfield, and Slavkovsky, they cannot defend like the first two.
No, if
like
they get the puck
Philadelphia
and
and
go
Ottawa
the other
can.
way, they're gone. But
Right, but they cannot like if we see that's the thing. It's like the only their plan on defense is throw themselves in front of the puck, and if they can't get it, pray that Dobish does. That's their entire
that
plan
was
on
insane.
defense.
That was a good move. I know Matheson leans more towards the shutdown side of the game, but that was pretty sick what he just did there. He can use his frame to protect the puck and make plays like he did there.
He's a good player.
Yeah, he
Matheson's
is.
a good player. And let's look at their D pairs here of Matheson, Carrier, Hudson, Dobson, Ja'Kai Gould. Is Ja'Kai playing?
Yeah, that's him right there.
There he is. Of course he is. Yep. Looking at my screen instead of
There's
the
some physicality
TV.
on that defense there.
Yeah, I mean, Ja'Kai, it can hit. He can certainly hit. That's about it, though.
Matheson can hit too.
All right, fair. I'm not really that impressed with Ja'Kai as a player, other than his ability to hit. I mean, if that's
actually Josh Anderson might be who they match Aho's lineup with.
Yeah, you're probably right. Now a penalty, now they're getting a penalty on Montreal, and someone's dead. Texier.
See, I was talking about before you came on here how people leave the Blue Jackets and they find good fits, and Alexander Texier is another one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, same thing with Igor Chinikov.
Of course, Texier goes to the Habs, and what do you know? He's good.
Yeah. Go there now. Go.
It's a 4-minute. Golly. Yeah. It's Bowen Byram. What a stupid.
You can't argue with that one. You couldn't argue with the last one. But
You shouldn't argue. Yeah, they were both. I mean, like I said,
egregious.
Buffalo is so lucky they're even in this game, and their luck it may be about to run out. I don't know how that power play goal Caulfield got at the end of the.
I wish you'd been on here during the first period challenge goal debacle.
Oh yeah, I saw a little replay of that. So what? It was gloved in the net. So they reviewed it, and ruled it in the net, and then it was challenged.
It was the Freddie Anderson situation all over again at first. Only there was a little bit more definitive evidence to the naked eye, based on the camera, that the entire glove, and by extension the puck, was in the net, plus the glove was red, so it was easier to see the puck. So they ruled it as a good goal. Then Montreal challenged it, and it got overturned on a very questionable goaltender interference ruling. So,
what did you think of the interference call against Carrier in Game 4?
See, what's funny? That the interference call in this game overturned it with a lot less than what it took to overturn or to not overturn the Carrier one. So,
well, the Carrier one was overturned. Like, it was ruled a goal on the ice, and they overturned it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like the Carrier one was like
more defensible.
Yeah.
More defensible. Yeah. I thought, looking at that, I'm like, yeah, I think they were probably going to call that back. That one didn't. I mean, it was annoying, but it wasn't. I didn't think. Like, put it this way: if the Hurricanes got scored on by that goal, I'd want it. I'd want goalie interference.
Yeah.
Sure. I'd be really upset if it wasn't. But yeah, that I don't know. I'd have to actually see. I know it was overturned for interference. I didn't see exactly the contact, but I did see Caulfield score the power play goal at the end of that period, and that was just a ridiculous shot. Like,
yeah,
getting it him at his size.
Patience.
Yeah, and him at his size, getting it around UPL from that angle.
Yeah,
that was absurd.
Well, he got him in the 5-hole though, so he waited just long enough to open him up.
I thought he beat him far side.
No, he found just a little bit of space right there, because I thought he got around him at first too because of the way he had the stick angled. No, he got him in the 5-hole.
UPL, golly, can't clear.
You know, for a smaller player, Lane Hudson skates like a big guy. The way he just gallops like a horse. It's insane how good he is.
An incredibly good skater. I just want to plaster him. I just want someone to. I want Carrier to just absolutely level his.
Him and Schaefer are probably the best skating defensemen in the league, other than Makar.
Yeah. And Demidov and golly, this power play is nuts.
Oh, don't worry, I got the Demidov propaganda ready. Mid-dov. You can't spell mid without dim, or you can't spell Demidov without mid.
That mid, yeah, that little communist bastard.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Oh, your Russians aren't communists? No, our Russians are based.
Our Russians are Mensheviks, I'll have you know.
Nobody else is going to understand that except for you and me, probably.
Now, our Russians are Romanovs, even better. They're Tsarist.
I can't wait for
the only true Russians.
Another thing, it's like if Buffalo advances, I can hit Lindy Ruff with the how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Lesson, old man. Lose another series on a dog pod call, huh? Why don't you?
That would be funnier than hell. Again, it happens again.
Yep.
I can't believe people said that he was going to outcoach Brandon Moore. I'm like, come on, no.
Ruff can do some things, but
he cannot outcoach Rod Brind'Amour.
He cannot really. I don't think he can. Like it, not with Buffalo, not with their personnel.
Three guys in this league who have managed to truly outcoach Brind'Amour, and two of them coached him when he played.
They were the ones that coached him. Yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody was going to know how to beat him, it would be them. I mean, like, you could kind of make the case that Gerard Gallant managed to outcoach him, but at the same time, it's like Ronta and rookie Kochetkov were only going to get you so far.
Yeah, that wasn't being outcoached. That was just our goaltending was just injured. No, Paul Maurice knows Rod Brind'Amour, knows how he thinks. So does Peter Laviolette. All right, I do not need to watch PK.
Yeah, I don't care what PK Subban has to say. You know what? When he first came on ESPN, I liked him. And then...
At first, he was complimentary towards the Hurricanes, like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But then because I think we did offer him a contract, and he decided to retire instead.
Yeah.
Then we offered him a contract to play for us.
I don't remember that.
I thought we did. I thought there was some... it was a while ago, so maybe I'm misremembering. But I thought I heard that the year he retired, that we had offered him a 1-year deal. And he decided, he was done.
Yeah. I mean, it was... The New Jersey series was where he seemed to just outright engage in full and complete administrative violence against Carolina at that point.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm like, you sit here and you talk about how great Jack Hughes is, and then you expect a Jack Hughes-less Devils to beat the Hurricanes. We gave you a 3-goal handicap, courtesy of Pyotr Kochetkov in Game 5, and you still couldn't get it done.
And still couldn't do it.
Like, what?
and that team was much worse than this one.
Yeah, much worse. That team wasn't supposed to go anywhere. I knew they would beat Washington. I just didn't expect them to do it in 5 games.
Yeah, we got a little fortunate there against Washington, but Washington also wasn't very good.
No, they're the biggest frauds in history.
They were frauds the entire time.
I mean, with a roster that stacked, they should have had a lot more than 1 cup. I mean, they had prime Backstrom, prime Kuznetsov, Oshie, Wilson, Ovechkin. List goes on.
Well, their problem was they could never get past Pittsburgh, until the one time when they did, because Crosby and Malkin would always overmatch them.
Yeah. And, it was really funny. It's like, I remember the previous year to that, before Justin Williams came back to Carolina, when they went out for the third period in that Game 6 against them, Justin Williams was the only one who looked like he gave a damn and actually wanted to win in that series. Because I remember watching that, and I'm like, man, I would love for him to come back to Carolina. And sure enough, he did, the next season.
Yeah, with that whole thing, with that person and that
that person that decided to name co-captains and
then the team and that
the one who put Derek Ryan on the ice in overtime. It's like, I know I've criticized Rod for some of his perceived favoritism, but he wasn't nearly as bad as that other guy with favoritism.
That other thing.
I mean, Jesus Christ, Derek Ryan. And I like Derek Ryan, but that's not who you put out there in 3-on-3 overtime. Like, Derek Ryan's a great story. He scratched and clawed and fought his way into the league against all odds. He's still not someone you put out there in freaking overtime.
Yeah. Which, by the way, this won't happen now, but someone who I think does deserve to play in the NHL now, I think, and he's made the case, is our Suzuki, Ryan Suzuki.
It'll have to be somewhere else.
It will have to be somewhere else. I guess I'd rather have him than Jankowski, but they won't do that now.
Well, Jankowski's a known quantity at this point, so
That's why, and I get
Yeah.
it, but
I get it too. But it's like, I see. The thing is, I actually knew on Thursday that Jankowski was getting extended.
yeah, that's right. Our mutual acquaintance.
No, I found that out from somebody else.
You found that from okay.
Yeah, because underneath where they put him on the Game 4 game day graphic, and I wrote extension underneath it, that was a dog whistle. I already knew about it.
You knew it, yeah.
I already knew it. I just don't post stuff like that because I don't want to be perceived as a fake insider in the event that something goes south at the last minute. But
Well,
I knew I knew
you have
about
more
it on
little
Thursday.
birdies than I do. That's for sure.
I've got 3 or 4 now, but yeah, no, I knew about him getting extended on Thursday.
Yeah,
they were basically just waiting on the series to be over, and then they were gonna. I knew it was coming. I mean, it had to be done because, like, if it wasn't done before he missed that wide open net that, like, that he should, like, bro, that was a soccer net. Like, how did you not hit that?
Seriously. Like, every time you olay that ball, you owe me 40 sit-ups. Every time you hit one in the air, you owe me 20 push-ups. Like, seriously, just do some damn calisthenics.
I was dumbfounded that he missed that net. I'm like, dude, how?
Seriously, the only way you can whiff, the only way it's possible to whiff on that is if he wasn't holding the stick, like if he wasn't really holding it. It was just like,
yeah.
Instead of
he uses a low kick point stick too, so that also kind of contributed to that situation. That's part of the reason I don't like using them personally, but that's just me.
It shouldn't matter. It should not matter. Should.
Well, okay, the kick point on a stick does matter a lot, but in that
explain that to me.
Okay, so the kick point on a hockey stick is basically the point in where the stick flexes. In his case, he's using a CCM ribcore, which is the CCM's low kick stick, and it's the lowest kick on the market other than the Warrior covert line that Aho used to use.
So that means like the flex is closer to the blade?
Yes, it flexes closer to the bottom, so you tend to get underneath it a little bit more in situations like that. Me personally,
it was wide. He shot it wide.
He shot it wide and high, and it's like. But even then, it's like I prefer the mid and the hybrid style kicks. Part of the reason why is because I don't generate a ton of shot power. Well, now I do, but before I started weightlifting again, I didn't generate a ton of shot power on my own. Whereas now it's like I have to go up to probably a 95 flex because I'm missing the net a ton because I've gotten stronger in the last few months. So I'm probably gonna, when I get my next sticks, I'm probably gonna go up to a 95 flex for mine. I think Aho uses an 85, I believe.
Yeah, and so like, why would a player would that help with the draw, or because it's more stable?
Me personally, the flex helps out more with face-offs. If you ask me, not so the flex, not so much the kick point and maybe the curve. A lot of guys who take face-offs like deeper curves. The exception is someone like Crosby, whose blade is like PM9. It's like flat.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. He's just so reflexively so fast taking them. It doesn't really make a difference what he uses there. But it's like there's a lot of guys who like to use really deep curves on face-offs, and yeah.
Why are we watching?
I thought they canceled it because of the.
Yeah, they postponed it, but I guess they're playing now. I don't know. But why are we watching the Foyd highlights here? Okay. Speaking of also Foyds, Vegas and Anaheim. I don't know. I guess good on Anaheim.
Scare me at all. It doesn't.
Yeah, honestly, Vegas doesn't scare me either. Now
it's going to be the battle of the matching helmets. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah. Now Colorado, obviously, they've got firepower for sure, but
I'm less scared of Colorado.
I'm less scared of Colorado than I am of Montreal. I'm less scared of Colorado than I am of Montreal.
If Carolina gets past Montreal, then I'm not saying plan the parade, but I'm going to feel pretty good.
Yeah, they should. I mean, like, I think they'd be favored. I think Carolina should be favored against Colorado. Plus, maybe not Freddy's a huge favorite.
Freddy's best game of the regular season was against Colorado too, because if it wasn't for him, Carolina gets blown out like 8-1.
Well, yeah, I mean, that game became a gong show, like, for a multitude of reasons.
So, game 3 in Whalers and Nordique sweaters. I'd actually be okay with that. I think that would be cool.
That'd be something else. That'd be something else.
I mean,
you and me need to go to a game together.
Oh no, we'll do that next year. Once we're done being live, I'll tell you about something I got in the works to where I'll I'll text you about it in a minute.
All right. Yeah, I was able to see a playoff game in each of the previous runs. Unfortunately, I was not able to go this year.
Well, if Carolina plays Montreal in the ECF, I'm not going at all because I went to both those games this year and Carolina lost both times. So I'm just going to sit
That's
my
why,
ass
yeah,
at home.
you stay far away.
Yeah, I'm not. No, I'm not going anywhere. I will. If Carolina starts losing, I will drive to Georgia. Like I will get as far away as possible.
Yeah, go to
I'm serious.
Argentina.
I don't think I can make it that far, but I think I can make it to Savannah. I'll just if I get on 26 really fast and just.
Or you could go to China with Jenkins. See the Great Wall.
No, that's for him. No, he can have that. I have no desire to go to
that.
China. There's a reason why I talk about sending players to China when they get mad at me. It's not for a vacation.
Fair enough. Or you could go see what's his name, the musical talents of that Ottawa Senators fan in Taiwan.
That's still China. It's the Republic of China, as opposed to the People's
so they say.
Republic of China.
Right.
It's still China.
It is still China. Yeah, that's right.
It's just actual China.
Yeah. I don't know. So back to San Jose shopping the second overall pick. They have Mario Ferraro and no one else.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they would consider like just a dearth of quality defensemen for it. Not that we should do this, but if we were just going to give them like, because essentially it's trading for Stenberg, and Stenberg is a damn good player,
and he's a more complete player on day one.
He's a more complete player on day, yeah. And so, like, if we like trade Nystrom, Legault, Badinka,
I wouldn't trade all three.
It would probably take all three, and
then
then
I wouldn't
probably
do it.
And probably take all three and our first round pick.
I wouldn't do it.
Like,
not for all three.
Stenberg. Not for all
if
three.
If it was Badinka, the first rounder, and one of Nystrom or Legault, then maybe I pull the trigger on it.
Maybe we do. Yeah, maybe we do one of our Russian D-men. Like maybe instead of Badinka, we do like Limitov or Bausov or someone like that.
Limitov I think would be a good one.
Limitov, yeah, because he would be enticing at least.
I kind of don't want to give him up though. I like what I'm.
He's going to be good. He's going to be good. He's going to be.
It's going to take a while.
Player.
It's high ceiling, long runway for him, but
yeah, it's going to take some time. But he's going to be in the NHL. He's going to have.
He's mean too.
Yeah. And he's big and he's talented and
yeah, he can skate really well for his size.
He's got like, yeah, I mean, honestly, like Nikishin has definitely more physical power, but Limitov has, I think, more puck skills.
Yeah, his skating's a little bit better
than he's gonna be a damn good player.
Yeah, see, I'm reluctant to trade that many pieces for. I mean, as good as Ivar.
That's what it would take. That's what it would take. If we were going to do it, that's what it would take. Yeah. I mean, not saying it's a good idea, but yeah, that's what it would take.
Let Chris Drury do that.
Well, they're picking fifth, so.
Well, yeah, but then they can ruin Stenberg's development and go down further in history as being the worst developmental franchise.
Who are they going to trade though to move up? Who are they going to trade if they were going to move up? Like,
well, one thing would be the 5th round pick.
I mean, yeah. So they move up to 5 and give what also to get to 5 to get to 2. I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't. Yeah, the Rangers, they're the one team that could ruin them. And yeah, Mark Stone is out because of course he is.
A little bit late in the year for that gimmick, isn't it?
Yeah, swing and a miss there. Mitch Marner proving that it's not. It was never him. It was Toronto. It was always. It's not you. Great. It's me. It was always. It's not me. It's you. It was always. It's not me. It's you.
Yeah, I just even if I was good enough to play in the NHL, that's one of the markets I wouldn't want to be in.
Never.
No.
I would never ever like.
Pretty much any of the original 6 teams. And probably the Islanders and the Sabres are just teams I just wouldn't want to play for. I'd play almost anywhere else. Like Western Canada signed me up.
Yeah, I don't know about like I would. California's got great weather, but it's other than that, it's a terrible place to live. So
well, if I had to play in California, let's see. Well, I wouldn't want to play for San Jose just because of their weird fans. For one thing. I'm not their type though, so I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
Actually,
Anaheim would probably be okay.
I would be okay with Anaheim just so I could go to Teemu Solani's steakhouse that he has there.
Fair enough.
Because I have a friend who went there and said it was really good. He's a big Ducks fan, and him and his wife were stationed in San Diego, and they said they would go up there for games sometimes, and that they really liked it.
Nice. I need to see. It's something on my bucket list to see a Canes game in another building. I haven't done that yet.
Let's see. I've been to Florida, Pittsburgh, Washington. That's it so far. My next two are going to be Tampa and Nashville.
We have some friends in Detroit. Maybe one day, try that. And we have some friends in Pittsburgh, close to Pittsburgh too.
That'd be a good one. Pittsburgh was actually a fun time. Let's see.
That's PPG Paints, right?
I had the most fun in Florida actually. Florida was fun.
Oh, it's Florida. It's nice and hot.
Yeah, it was. That was the same week we went on the cruise. But that was last January. Don't worry, I don't have the hantavirus or whatever the gimmick they're pushing now.
Gimmick, yeah.
Let's see. I went there. PPG Paints was pretty fun because like it was nice to drive through Pennsylvania and just kind of take in the mountains and the scenery and everything like that on the way up there. I actually almost went to when Carolina played Philadelphia back in the last time they played them in March of 2024. I almost went up there.
Mm.
I like the morning of I woke up thinking about whether I was going to go or not. And I'm like, if I decide to go, I gotta do it now. But it was only like 2 hours away if I took the toll road. I just ultimately decided against it. But I wish I'd gone because Carolina won like 5-0 or something like that. But
I think I remember that game. Yeah.
Let's see. But yeah, I think Tampa and Nashville are probably going to be my next two.
I'd love to see a game in Nashville. That'd be great.
Yeah, Nashville somewhere I would like to go one day. Let's see.
Boston, maybe? Nah.
I've been to the city of Boston, and I was not impressed.
You weren't? Yeah.
No.
Fair enough.
I went to a Providence Bruins game, and it was all right, but it was just... I didn't
My
care.
wife has been to Buffalo, and I didn't need her to tell me to know not to go there, but yeah, I'm not going there.
Why the hell did she go to Buffalo? What the hell?
There was a reason. There was a reason. She was. Why'd you go to Buffalo again, babe? Niagara Falls. That's right. That was a reason.
Oh wait, I have been there when it was frozen, because I had a friend in Rochester and I took him up there to get a car from his dad. And it was actually pretty cool to see it frozen.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I saw it frozen.
She was there with one of her friends visiting Niagara Falls, but even that could not save like Buffalo for her.
See, I will say this though about Buffalo, best damn pizza I think I've ever had. And of course the wings are really good there.
I don't know. I've had I don't know, pizza from New York City is I've never had better than that.
That's pretty good too.
My dad's from New York.
When I went to Italy, I was really excited about the pizza there. It's all right, but it's completely different.
It's not the same. It's not. Yeah, it's not.
It doesn't.
Pizza is an American dish.
Yeah, I mean everything's ours because even if you do invent it, we're gonna take it and make it better. It's like, think about it. It's like either we invented it or we invented the better version of it. Until somebody in our government sold it to China, and then they tried to make their own Temu copycat version of it that didn't work out.
Speaking of Temu copycats, this whole disclosure thing, I've just got to get on my soapbox here for a second and a half. We deserve better psyops than this. Like, if you're gonna try to convince me that the aliens from outer space have landed on Earth, you got to do better than that. Like, it is just pathetic. I don't know. Sorry to bring you into a non-hockey topic
project
for a
the
moment.
giant ships from Independence.
Seriously, I mean, how did the photos get worse? How did they get worse? And how did the 60s photos of supposed UFOs have better resolution? Whatever. Offside. All right.
I was way offside. But yeah, no,
Please don't.
it's just kind of yeah. I think that whole thing is funny. I really do. And then see, there was an easy way to solve this problem. When those people were talking about storming Area 51 a few years ago, just let them in. Let them in.
Let
Just
them in.
let's see what they find.
Well, that's the thing is it's not that was never an alien research facility.
No, that's where
They're
they
doing other stuff.
they research aircraft there. Like people were
Yeah,
like,
and,
when people saw the F-117 there the first time, they were like, oh, it's a UFO. I'm like, yeah, from Lockheed Martin.
and that they probably do like other probably maybe less than above board stuff that probably violates the Geneva Convention. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, no, there's something that probably
Bioweapons
shouldn't go
research,
on there,
something,
but
yeah.
well, but as far as like stuff that's like well
Whack.
known, like they damn.
Yeah.
They test aircraft there, like, but I mean that's nothing new. That's been going on there since 1947.
Buffalo got really lucky again that I'm not sure that made the line. Wow.
Well, see, I understand where you're coming from with the aliens thing because me being an aviation nerd, when hear people talk about, oh, the chemtrails coming off the airplanes, I'm like, those are vapor trails, you more.
You see that there's the one that made the big one that everyone was talking about was like the thing that's clearly a flare.
Yeah,
and they're freaking out about it. I'm like,
the weather balloon one is pretty
the
funny
weather balloon.
too.
There's like a billion weather balloons, and it's like,
how do you think that we track, the weather?
And they're tiny. Like some of these are really tiny, like some like little
Nowadays,
fly.
yeah.
There's some little fly going across, on the water or something. And like, what is it? So literally, like they got.
It was a good shot by Suzuki. UPL got across and made
How
the
did
save.
I don't know how. Those seam passes, like
the precision that they have them with, it's just.
Yeah, I mean the seam pass. That's like that shot is like at least 40% to go in. Whenever you have a cross seam pass and you hit the net, yeah. If a cross seam pass that's on target, that's a 40% chance to score. That's better than a breakaway. All right. I want Buffalo to win, but can they do it in regulation, please?
Yeah, I can't stay up all night. I got to be up.
I don't want to watch an overtime.
I finally was able to go back to the gym. I had to take a couple of weeks off because I hurt my wrist. It was weird too. Like I had a pallet jack in front of me, and I was just doing I flipped the thing up and I started pumping it, and I felt it. Like, let me see if I can make it. Yep, there it did at that time. It did that, and I was like, oh shit. And this was the wrist that I messed up when I was in the Navy too, that I had to wear the brace for. So I found that brace and I wore it for a couple of weeks when I needed to, and it's been better ever since. But yeah, those are not chemtrails coming off the airplanes. Those are vapor trails. I'm not going to take the time to explain it to you. Look it up. They're not chemtrails.
Yeah, they won't learn anything if they don't look it up for themselves.
Yeah, because I can sit here and explain
right
it to
out
you,
in front, and Buffalo is getting so lucky.
Yeah.
They're getting so lucky. They had a 17-10 shots lead. Like with how long? They haven't had a shot in like a good 10 minutes of gameplay. Or maybe more. Since that
I got some
goal.
I got some other intel on the aliens. They're called the Covenant, apparently.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
If they call it that and they'll be like, well, Cortana's already a thing. Come on, bro. You got to sell me something better than that. I've seen this already. I know I was late to that.
Party, hey, I've seen this. It's classic.
It's a classic. That's the best place for Buffalo to be right now.
I mean, they're going to get scored on. Oh, that could have been a penalty. And it is.
Yeah, yep. I was going to say, he threw the arms up right after that. And,
he armbarred him. All right, this is your chance, Buffalo.
Now Montreal's
going to get a better one.
Him.
Like I said, it was 17.
Like.
The shots were 17-10 in Buffalo's favor. Montreal has the last 13 shots on net.
Let me refresh this because now I want to look at what the numbers say now.
Yeah, what are you doing that, Jake? I mean, I like Jake Evans, but that was dumb. What do you? No,
Bro, you're
okay.
not trying to win a cage
You play.
match.
You play the game. I don't know how like beer league gets officiated. If it's like
Very
if
poorly.
very like or do people even like? Because I mean, why would you do that like that? Did you think that wouldn't? Did you think that would just not go unnoticed?
Well, more
Like-
than anything, it depends on if the official is mad at his wife or not that night and decides to take it out on the beer league
Okay,
players.
you think okay, barely. I'm asking for Jake Evans, like.
Okay. Well, in the case, I thought you were asking a beer league question. In the case of Jake Evans, there, I call that 10 times out of 10. Free hand wrapped all the way around, yeah.
But yeah, like why would he do that? Like,
because sometimes people do the quick little clutch and grab and get away from it. It's just he made that one way
that
too
was
obvious.
that was way obvious. That
if it's a quick little like bam and right off,
he held that for like 3 seconds.
See, it's like you don't see the little things a lot of times. That happens 15 times a game where someone just wraps somebody up real quick and lets them go, and then it doesn't really affect the play, and they just let it go. In that situation, he's like, yeah, you're not going to get away with that.
That was so blatant. That was so blatantly obvious.
Well, I mean, then again, though, the Montreal Canadiens were in the Stanley Cup Finals when somebody had the skate or someone had their stick in somebody's holder, and to the point where he was skating off with it, and the officials just standing there like, "Oh, it looks okay to me," and just let him play. So I don't know. That's why I like Rod's ideas with the officiating about put the two guys in the box and review it during a TV timeout and all that, just to make sure you get it right. I'm good with that. I wish they would do that, but they won't
just
implement.
What they should do is what they could do if they want to actually even, I don't know if they want to hire more people, but this like not only would it not take a job, it would add a job. Is just have a video judge.
Yeah, that's what he said. And,
yeah, just have like
that's what I think they should do with on and offside too. Have somebody just in a fixed position watching it and put a light inside of the stanchion like you
Buffalo.
Buffalo scored.
Buffalo scored Benson.
See, that was one of my little disappointments with Jankowski getting signed. I was hoping Carolina might go after him because I like Zach Benson. He'd be a good
player. He's another short king. He's like 5'9".
I was gonna say he fits the dimensions that are required to be a Hurricanes forward.
Yep, for sure. Great move. Great. How do you find that was a great pass? Yep, all alone.
That was an incredibly skilled play to take that puck off his skate like that.
Oh, was that Shane? That was Josh Stone who found him. That was a great play. Josh Stone's a good player.
You know what's funny? When you almost accidentally said Shane Doan, I was talking earlier about how I accidentally call Sean Walker Scott Walker, and they're not even related. I still accidentally call Jackson Blake Jason Blake, and Jason Blake never played for the Hurricanes. I accidentally called Lane Hudson Cole Hudson like 5 times because I've got so many friends that are Caps fans, so I talk to them about Cole Hudson a lot because very impressed with that player as well. But,
he'll be on their roster. He'll make their team.
Oh yeah,
without a next year. Mm-hmm. All right, Buffalo. There you go. Got your lead.
Yeah, let's bold strategy, Cotton.
Looks like they are forfeiting. Yeah, that's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. Now, how about we just shoot along the boards and hope a stanchion caroms in and then goes off of Delbesh's pad.
Work again.
Buffalo has gotten so lucky in this game, like so unbelievably lucky.
I mean, I can't say anything though because in Game 3 in Philadelphia hit the post 5 times in the first period.
Yeah, okay, now that's true. At least one of them though was actually Freddie made a save, and he made the save, and then it bounced off the post. So at the end of the day, so post it is kind of, I understand it's luck, but then at the end of the day, it's a missed shot. The goalie does not have to defend that. He is not contracted and paid to defend that particular area.
I'm still a believer that the beat everything but the post argument. Now, I mean, part of that comes is that I have post like
nightmares.
Yeah, because of how much I hit it.
That's fair, but it's at the end of the day, it's a miss.
Is it not? When those nightmares like were already bad enough, then Jarvis hit the post in Game 1 in overtime against Florida in 2023. and I felt my nose starting to bleed when that happened.
It's like gives you that little, just like makes my eye twitch.
Yeah, no, like when that happened, because he had him totally beat. He had Bobrovsky totally beat. I'm like, yep, that's it. That's gonna be the game. Clang, and I'm like,
it was a crossbar, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a crossbar because he had him totally beat.
Yeah, Adam. Yep. It's all right. It's all right. We're here. We're in the playoffs. They aren't. So
I still want to beat them, though.
I do.
Carolina's not truly vindicated until they beat them. And then they'll come up with some other stupid reason why Carolina had a cakewalk to the... like it's like 3 weeks ago. Sens in 6. Oh, never mind. Flyers in 7. Never mind.
Are the Sens even really? Did they even really play anyone? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, seriously. It's like they flipped the script so... And you knew they were going to do it. It's like they've got a flowchart in the studio. Wow. That was a good save.
What
he pulled the Kochekov.
What a save, Dobash. How did he get that? I need to see the replay.
Never mind.
Yeah, not quite, but what a save, Dobash.
Let me see what these numbers look like here. I got to refresh this one more time. So these are all at 5-on-5, which is the most important thing to look at here.
Yeah, none of these teams play defense well. I mean,
shot attempts have almost evened up. It's 28-25 favoring Montreal now, and that's at 5-on-5. Fenwick not worried about that so much here. Scoring chances are 13-14 favoring Montreal.
What
high danger chances 4-8 favoring Montreal. Expected goal for 0.99 to 2.13 favoring Buffalo.
Golly, if Dobesh is making those kinds of saves, like that is just...
He'll have to do that more frequently against
He
Carolina,
will,
though,
but like he only has to do it 4 times.
Yeah.
And he's already done it 3.
Well, here's how far I'm going in my superstition. I am eating nothing but healthy meals during the conference finals. I'm not having any game day food at all because when I had game day food last year, they lost. So it's all going to be salmon, grilled chicken, and vegetables. And the closest thing I'm going to have to game day food is steak and broccoli.
There you go.
Maybe a flatbread, something like that.
I have one ritual where I just enjoy an IBC cream soda after every playoff victory.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, they used to have an A&W.
My beverage of choice.
At the Naval
NW is good, but IBC is a little better in my opinion.
But yeah, they had an A&W there at the Naval Exchange in Norfolk, and I used to go there and get root beer floats and burgers all the time. And when I used to play in that tournament up in Pennsylvania, I always stopped at one they had at a truck stop up there and grabbed me that on the way back from that tournament.
Nice. I'll be right back. I gotta.
Brother. I'll do some comments while you're doing that. All right. Let's see if this thing will work. Don't tell me this thing is frozen again. Won't let me scroll up. There we go. Okay. J-Dub says, do you think Lions is done if Buffalo wins this? I don't know. Good question. Moose says Dobson is also low intelligence. Yeah, he is. You know, you can kind of get away with being a low intelligence power forward. You can't be a low intelligence puck moving defenseman. Keep having penalties we've had in the first 2 rounds against Montreal. No, they'll make Carolina pay for it. Yep, J-Dub said that. Yep, he did. Yes, I saw where the Leafs fans are upset that Marner is playing well. Forgot who. Someone on the Wild called Josh Manson a dirty player. It was McCarron, I believe. Neither of these teams play defense. It's insane. Yeah, Montreal doesn't really need to, though, with how they can score 3 goals on 7 shots on average, roughly. Hey, Frankie. What you doing, buddy?
Okay, we're back. Yeah, see, yeah, I mean, between these two, I mean, I still think obviously the Hurricanes should be the favorite, but
They won't be, though, no
well,
matter what.
I mean, I think they'll be the betting favorite, but they'll be the Vegas favorite, but I'm not sure. Like, I mean, because again, Montreal has a simple plan. It's a simple plan that is designed because to beat the Hurricanes, because that's how we lose games. We lose games when we dominate territorially. The other team has timely blocks, great goaltending, and they score on the power play and on the rush. That's how the Hurricanes lose. So that's Montreal's plan. And yeah, I mean, am I missing something?
Not really. When this series is over, that's when I'm going to go in the nuances of it, because I actually have a thing where I've got a little ice graphic where I'm going to break down the difference with why Carolina should go away from the 2-1-2 and go for more of a 1-2-2 or even a 3-2 type of hybrid forecheck. And that alone, I think, beats Montreal. Not quickly by any means.
A 1-2-2 or a 1-3-1, I think would beat them. The problem is like I don't. Maybe he's different this year, but I don't trust Rod to actually do that. I don't trust Rod to change. We're doing change our game. We keep playing our game. That whole thing is like it's like anti-adjustment.
I'm not so much worried about that this time around, because if you compare how much he was using the line blender the last season versus this one, he's barely mixed the lines up at all since January. It's like he's letting things work. If it's working, he'll leave it alone. And when he needed to make a small adjustment when he flipped Martinook and Jarvis, it worked out. I'm not so much worried about that. I think he learned a lot last year, because
hope so.
People got pissed at me for saying this, but last playoffs was his worst stretch as a coach. I'm sorry, it was. Game management wise.
He completely and utterly, not that we would have won, but he
damn, give yourself a chance.
He utterly mismanaged the Florida series, like abysmally, like far worse than 23 when we just got unlucky, frankly. But yeah, that was in a. I mean, he has no choice but now. But I mean, like he just saw red, I guess, in the Nikishin's game, winning Game 5 against Washington, his first. He just like blew a gasket for whatever reason and decided never to trust him until now, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
see, what I found funny about it is like how everybody who unconditionally defends Rod immediately jumped on the language barrier bandwagon, and I'm kind of like, well, he doesn't speak any more English now than he did 3 days ago. Why is that a problem now? That's what I found weird about the whole thing.
Yeah. And the thing is, he said it that he thought Nikishin was a train wreck in that game.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was a train wreck. I thought he made some mistakes.
Yeah, he had first game jitters, but he sure. I don't agree with him being.
But he also like he I don't know if you remember like when he like completely handled Ovechkin. Like Ovechkin was trying to dangle, do some stuff, and get to the like wheel around him, and Nicky just had none of it.
Plus, he at least got a point during the second round, or I mean in the third round against Florida.
Yeah,
and
he did.
Scott Morrow didn't contribute anything except dog pogs and
missed assignments.
Yeah,
and missed checks.
Missed checks that could have changed the complexion of that series. But it's like you're there, you might as well try to win. It's like
for me, like I know you're upset most like that he just let up on the check, which is definitely frustrating. But to me, like the most egregious thing is always just the missed assignment.
Yeah,
like just know where you're supposed to fucking be, and.
Well, see, what he said before the game didn't do him any favors either. I'm going to go out there and kick ass. I'm like, yeah, for Florida. That's just dumbfounded me. I
And,
would have
and maybe,
rather
yeah.
I'd rather almost anything else have been done. I'd rather them went out there with 5 defensemen or put Jankowski back there or something. Like I would anything but putting Scott Morrow back out there in
I'll tell you
the
this,
second game. And building was half empty by the second period.
I mean, you might have gotten like beat speed wise, but you would have known where you were supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like you would have known not to go try to double team someone and leave your man wide open.
Yeah.
You would have known that.
I probably would have left my feet at that point, actually.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, you'd have known that there's where I'm supposed to be. Like whether you can get there or not, you know that's where you're supposed to be.
When I was grossly overweight and had one knee. Yeah, I just that whole thing, it's like.
And we don't have the patience to try to teach him that. Like when we can get Miller, who Miller had he had a phenomenal game 3. Game 4 against Philadelphia was probably his worst game in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's still like that, that one rough game every like 3 weeks or so. And I think that was game 4 was his roughest game in the playoffs so far. But other than that,
he's of
the 7, that was his so he's had like one bad game out of 8. So
I'm good with that. That's worth $7.5 or $7.75 million to me. Getting
right.
Let's see, that's what greater than 85% of your games go well. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Now, what possessed him to try to hold on to that puck and just cough it up? I don't know, but
it had been going well for him already, so I guess he just thought he could do it again, and it just didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he can't bring the puck in close to his body and protect it like Ghost can. He's too big and rangy to do that.
That and just I mean, just when the pressure's coming there, just get it off your stick. Just throw it up the boards. Even if they get it, it's not going to be turned over like front and center like that.
No.
So just fish or cut bait, and that happens. Well, he'll learn. See, he'll learn.
He was coachable.
Yeah.
Hope Caulfield's all right from a humanitarian standpoint.
Oh, what happened to him?
I don't know. I just saw him on the bench doubled over, and someone in the comments said something about it.
Yeah, I'll be fine. Apparently, Vladar is playing hurt the whole time.
Yeah.
Could have fooled me. I mean, maybe
as well as he played. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he played really well. He was not why Philadelphia lost.
Not at all. He was their best player.
Yeah.
For the second series in a row, the opposing goaltender was the best player that we had to face.
And that's what gives me a lot of hope about this team, because normally goalies get hot, and that's death sentence for Carolina. Not this time.
True. We've been able to overcome it. What, Buffalo? What are you doing, dude? Speaking of defensive awareness, look at them. They're puck watching, puck chasing. They just ice it.
Wearing them down.
They're going to tie it.
They do that with how well that they move the puck, how well they cycle it and everything. They get guys moving their feet a little bit here and there, and they finally get worn out because they've just been moving around chasing nothing.
Yeah, they were chasing, like Buffalo was chasing ghosts in their own zone. Like, I have no idea what they're doing.
Letting Noah Dobson just walk around you like nothing.
Caulfield's back on the ice. He's fine.
Yeah, Connor Timmins gave him some business there.
I'm not a fan of Timmins.
I'm not either.
I don't think he's any good.
Disgrace to the number he wears.
I do like Gooley.
I like Caden Gooley.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. He's another one of those physical, defensively sound guys that Montreal has. Jack High's physical, like you can beat him defensively though, because he's not very quick.
He's also like there's a difference between like being a physical rat and coming off your discipline, and he comes off his discipline. He takes really, really stupid penalties. He does. He
I
makes
mean, I
boneheaded
guess I'd be
decisions.
angry at life if my parents had to escape from the Soviet Union too. So, I mean,
Still, he makes boneheaded decisions.
no, Gooley's a good player though.
Caden Gould's good.
But I mean, if you shut down Hudson from generating the transitions for them, Dobson's not going to give you that many.
No, yeah, Dobson is. He's overrated.
Oh, I agree. That's why when they signed him when they traded for him, I was kind of like, all right, have fun with that.
Yeah, the Islanders won that trade.
Yeah, I mean, didn't need him anymore. They got a player who's 10 times better in the draft.
Yeah. Like, I think that the Islanders will probably make the playoffs next year.
They will. I think San Jose is going to start making it next year.
Yeah,
too.
they will. Yeah, they will, especially if they draft Stenberg or someone like that. I mean,
Or
they do
trade
need to
that pick and
address.
get what they need.
They do need to address their blue line, but I wouldn't trade 2 overall unless you're getting because unless you're getting like a number 1 defenseman back, and who's going to do that?
Nobody.
Yeah. Why would
Well,
you?
here's one other thing though. With the way the league is going,
That's offside.
yeah, that was out.
Kept it? That looked out to me.
Looked like it was out to me, yeah. But no, it's like the way the league is going though, it's like the shutdown defenseman is all but gone. Like I think it's entering its last phase.
And it's a real damn shame.
Yeah, it is, because those have always been my favorite type. You know, one of my first favorite players was Nicholas Volin. And that's who
Secret weapon.
That's who I tried to model my game after when I was a kid. Like I'm sitting there like on my carport and my rollerblades trying to skate like Nicholas Volin, and I had plenty of cuts and scrapes to prove that. But it's like it's kind of like you're either an offensive defenseman or a two-way defenseman who is defensively competent enough to kill penalties, and that's it. Like that's the threshold.
And
now.
that's so sad, because I mean, Slavin has proved beyond any shadow of a doubt that not only
like guys like him, Lindell, Zub, Forsling, they're going to be. I think they're kind of going to be the last of their kind.
Pelech and
yeah,
like it's such a valuable. It wins you games. Do teams not like winning?
Well, see, it's not so much that. It's like it's just the product the league wants is more of, you know, ADHD, high scoring shit, which I don't like that, but it is the way it's going.
I understand that. They want the 15-goal slop.
Oh, like with Minnesota and Colorado in game 1. They publicized the hell out of that game.
They want that, and it was going around, but I you know, that meme of like the guy standing up, you know, to give his hot take.
Oh, the Norman Rockwell painting?
Yeah. It's like, I prefer competence to 15-goal sloppy bullshit.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I'd rather see some of the best games I've ever seen have ended 1-0.
Yeah, someone from Montreal is that? Who is Slavkovsky?
I don't like him, but I hope he's not hurt too bad.
Apparently he took an elbow.
Oof.
Trainer's out.
Lord knows he doesn't need any hits to the head. Because he's already had a couple of concussions, hasn't he?
I don't know. Maybe. Oh no, he got the butt end of the stick from the UPL.
That sucks, man.
Ouch.
That's a complete accident, but that sucks.
Yeah, ouch. That looks painful.
You know, I sit here and I see this commercial. I remember when they had the dollar menu.
Dollar menu.
I mean, I don't eat stuff like that anymore anyway. I mean, if I am going to get something from there, that's it.
That's what you
that and the McGriddle. But we found McGriddles at the Walmart. What's it called? The green Walmart, the neighborhood market or whatever. They're just as good.
Yeah,
the green Walmarts. Yeah, they're just as good as anything you get from there, and way cheaper. And we're actually going to learn how to make them ourselves. Like actually like infuse the griddles with the syrup and everything like that. So we're going to learn to do it ourselves.
Yeah, that's right. Huge Kaniak saying, you know, boring hockey defense. Like, to me, not only is it like the Hurricanes do not trap. They don't play a neutral zone trap. They play pressure. They play pressure the puck carrier. And that's how you defend, is you you disrupt. It's proactive. It's like,
See,
I mean,
I think where part of it comes from,
that's
the
enjoyable to me. Like, that's entertaining to me.
I think what it is, the NHL is so terrified of the dead puck era coming back, even though it's impossible because two-line pass is gone. I think they're so terrified of the dead puck era happening again, they're going to do everything they can to prevent it. Because, I mean, think about it. They regulate the hell out of the goalie pads now. The trapezoid's in. They have all this stuff to make sure that the game doesn't go back in that direction, and that's part of the reason why the Slavens, Zubs, and Pelliks of the world are kind of going away. And inversely with the forwards, the Jordan Stahls of the world are going away.
Yeah, I mean, but I get it for the forwards, but I mean, Jacob Slavin I wouldn't trade him for anybody. And I think that there are plenty of people that should see this. I mean, I don't know, like maybe I'm an old fuddy-duddy. Maybe I am a dinosaur now, but that's ridiculous that Jacob Slavin, that people don't try to model their game after him, that people don't try to like say that's the kind of defenseman that's the kind of defenseman everyone should be. That really is.
That's the thing.
Really
if I were a coach, I would be like, build this part of your game and I've been offered to coach before. I've just never had the opportunity to do it. And I'll never get to for long, and here's why. Because I would tell a defenseman, you see this guy right here, the guy wearing red and black wearing 74, model your game after him and build the other stuff later. Build the defensive side of your game first, and then you can learn when you can join the rush. Then you can learn when to, pinch and all that type of stuff. Build the defensive foundation of your game so you can create possession and create opportunities that way. But it's just like there's this big emphasis on it now, and I think part of it is the league is afraid of, they're just making sure the dead puck era just is truly gone, which the moment they took two-line pass out, it was numbered anyway.
Right, yeah, that's you can kind of neutral zone trap, but not like it used to be.
No.
Like the neutral zone trap created whistles. Like today, if you do it, you create a dump in maybe, but you don't create a whistle. The neutral zone trap of old just created stoppages because it forced two-line passes all the time.
Yeah.
And
New Jersey was one of the best teams that figured that out and did it the best. And that's
you didn't have to be talented to do it. You just had to be. You didn't have to be talented to do it. You just had to be well coached.
You just had to do your job.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's what I believe.
Oh.
That new hook again.
Lukanen.
Oh no, it was Anderson.
Lukanen's played well. Up 2-on-1.
Lay down, leave your feet.
Did he hit the post? Yeah. 244. Yeah. Did Dobish get a piece of that one too? You see that here? No. Flush off the post.
I don't know if you saw it, but one thing Tom Ray and I were talking about, we were talking about like the difference between a power play and a penalty kill. You can take 4 relatively mid players and you can make a pretty good penalty kill just by telling them, teaching them and coaching them what they need to do and where they need to be. A power play, you can't do that. You need God-given talent.
Average. It can be at least a somewhat competent penalty kill.
Yeah, power play, you can't do that.
With the power play, not only that, but and with the Hurricanes, like they bring the penalty kill to the next level through their disruption, through their ability to disrupt. And that's the thing. It's like with Slavin, his entire game, and he's no one better at disruption than Slavin.
Yeah,
Jacob Slavin. No one better. Not even McCarr. No one is more disruptive than Jacob Slavin. I mean, it's like even the edge rusher that maybe he doesn't get all the sacks, but he still messes up the play every time.
Yeah.
Because he forces the early throw or, a holding penalty or something like that. Like it's just always, he messes up what everyone is trying to do.
He might not get you a 3 and out of nowhere, but it's like he'll, he's going to cause you to make mistakes. And the next thing you know, you're 2nd and 20. Because of something he did.
Yeah.
It's like, so I totally understand that philosophy. And see, here's the other thing about it. You've got such this big emphasis on offensive defensemen now and everything like that. at this point, comparing a defenseman like Jacob Slavin to someone like Quinn Hughes is basically like comparing a defenseman and a forward at this point. So it's like categorically they need to be separated. So it's like, oh, Jake Sanderson's better than Jacob Slavin. Okay, well, if you're talking about both sides of the game, no shit. Yeah, like I agree with that. But if you're talking about the original spirit of that position,
Slavin
Slavin's
is
the better
more
player.
valuable to winning games.
Yeah.
There's only, I think, one other defenseman in the league who will win their team more games, and that's Kel McCarr.
Yeah.
He's the only defenseman in the league that I think is actually makes their team win more.
Mm-hmm.
And I still wouldn't trade Slavin. I still wouldn't trade Slavin for him just because I don't know, just because he's my security blanket. And
well,
I just
see,
don't
the thing is,
that.
Cale Makar doesn't put up points every single night. Jacob Slavin does the same thing every single night. And when Slavin does have a bad game, which is once every 30 games or so, you know about it. It's right. Like it's a hot topic for a little bit. But, you know, it's like he's out there defending better on one knee. I mean, there's been times I've seen him make plays after he loses his stick that people can't do if they had two of them.
I mean, that you know, taking the goal off the goal line in game 3, no one else in the league can do that. Because that was bouncing. That puck was bouncing. That puck.
Did you notice the way that he cupped the stick over forward to make sure that it and then sent it back out? A lot of defensemen instinctively or any player at that point distinctively would just have the bottom of the blade flat and just swat at it, and then it's in the back of the net anyway, or it's a soft clear, and there's another chance coming your way. There's another shot coming your way. That was
control of it.
He settled it down first.
Control of it. And then cleared it. Like no one else in the league can do that.
Yeah, and when it comes to the golf wedge, he's probably the best one in the league at doing that, at putting it where he wants it to. It's like none of that stuff shows up, but like, you know, that's the whole thing with it, though. It's like he's going to be one of the last of his kind. Like you might see a couple of bottom pair. I agree, but I mean, you'll probably see a bottom and a second pair shutdown guy that go out there and supplement whatever plugs they want to throw out there on the penalty kill. But like the closest thing in the league to a shutdown center in 10 years is going to be Aho and Barkov.
Barkov is not going to make it another 10 years. Neither is Aho.
Aho might.
39.
Yeah.
Old.
I think he can play that long.
5 minutes to go. Montreal crunch time.
If Jordan Staal made it to 39, Aho can make it to 39.
Fair enough. All right, Buffalo, you got it. Is it getting out? It is. No icing, 40 seconds. Boy, has Buffalo gotten lucky in this game.
It ain't over yet.
Nope. That didn't get out. Okay, now it did. That's, no icing. Okay, 20 ticks. They got 200 feet to go. Montreal, you can't dawdle. One last push. 12, 10. Nope. Good game, Buffalo.
Yeah.
All right. They played a good game.
They did.
Actually, well, no, they played a lucky game.
Well, you have to be good to be lucky. You have to do something right, otherwise you won't win.
True. All right. Good. There'll be a game 6. That's all I really want. I wanted this series to go at least 6.
Well, if that's the case, then the earliest in Carolina would start on Monday.
Monday. Yep.
Yeah, because it would have been Saturday potentially if Montreal won today. But, you know, see, this also gives me hope seeing if Buffalo can beat them on the road without last change, Carolina can.
Oh, yeah. It's not like I'm worried that we can't beat Montreal like in a game. What I'm worried is that there'll just be 4 out of the 7 where that are like Tampa Montreal game 7. Because I could easily see that happening.
Well, if Tampa managed to hold them to no goals in game 6, Carolina can do that 3 times. Maybe
we
4.
could, but we could also, I could see where, you know, we outshoot them 30-10 and lose 2-1.
Oh, there will be at least 2 games like that. At least. At a minimum.
Yeah, they're going to Anaheim Vegas now. I'm going to turn in for the night, though. Thanks for having me on. It's good to chat with you.
I think I'm going to call it a night, too. Everybody, thank you for joining us. This has been a whole lot of fun. We will be back here. I'm going to do something tomorrow night, and we will be back here for Game 5 should be on, let's see, today's Tuesday. Game 5 should be on Thursday, right?
Probably.
Or do they have 2 days of travel? I'll tell you in 2 seconds. Hold on.
Yeah, I might have to, I don't know if I'll be able to stream on Thursday, but
quality chances at either end, and both goalies tested so far. Partnership.
Yeah, Buffalo and Montreal will play at 7 on Thursday. And then Friday, I'm going to go get some ice time myself because I haven't got to skate in like 3 weeks because I was giving my wrist a break. But I lifted marine batteries and oil drums all day yesterday, so it's fine. And
Fair
then
enough.
if they have Game 7, it wouldn't be until Monday that Game 7 would be played. So
Right, which mean we play on Wednesday.
yeah,
So
probably if
Monday,
they make it to
Monday,
7.
Wednesday of next week.
Yeah, but I'm going
Fair
to watch
enough.
a little bit of this one on the big screen. But everybody, thank you very much for joining us. We will see you guys later.
Good night.